And welcome into the Tuesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Tuesday morning, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. For homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in, visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. I am back on the program today. Woo! Fresh off a trip to Central Florida. It was a wonderful time with the family, but happy to be back. Joe, how we doing? What's going on?
Doing fine. Glad to have you back on mic one.
Oh, I'm sure you did great.
Oh, yeah, I did. But yeah, we want to hear about Disney.
We had a great time, man. I'll say, I don't know whether I should publicly admit this or not. This is the fourth time that my 3-year-old daughter has been. So I think the national average of times people go to Disney World's 2.5 or something like that.
In their lifetime?
Yeah, in their life. And she has now been 4 times, and she just turned 3 on Sunday. So I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but that's what's happened. But it does feel like it's been kind of like a different person every time we've taken them. And this was by far the best. She very much enjoyed herself. So that was good.
That's awesome.
Good to see.
Yeah. So she has some favorites, but I assume there's probably new stuff every time.
There's new stuff every time. Like, she got on Tomorrowland Speedway this time and really enjoyed that. She rode her first roller coaster and enjoyed that. Didn't know how that one was going to go.
Which one?
It was the Barnstormer. So it's a small one in Magic Kingdom, but she was all about it, man.
Okay.
She got on it. She's like, "Daddy, let's do that again." I said, "Okay, let's go do it again."
So Space Mountain down the road.
Space Mountain down the road. If it's freaking operational, it's closed down like 90% of the time we were there. But yeah, I think they're going to refurbish that thing.
Is that right?
I think so.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes. But it was a great time. Very much enjoyed ourselves. Definitely.
Nice.
Good stuff. How was Kuharski?
Well, he was just about as fun as Goofy,
Very similar comparison,
Yeah.
Similar guys.
Yeah. Just an absolute ball of fun.
That's what he is.
Kuharski. Yeah. He was good. Teresa Walker Friday. She was awesome, man. There was a lot of reaction on the text line, you got to get Teresa on here. I think people want Teresa to overtake Kuharski.
Yeah,
so,
have some of that, Paul.
We may have a little bit of controversy there.
Have some of that, Paul. Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Doing just fine, thanks. Yep. Keeping up with some training camp around here, and a little bit of baseball trade deadline yesterday. I guess was busy. Not that I care. And yeah, we're rolling, man. Summer's just about over. We got this week. Some kids go back to school. I guess some this week.
Monday.
Mostly next week. My second grader starts again next week.
Yeah. On
Monday. So went by kind of quick there.
Yeah, we're at that time.
It did.
It feels like it goes by quicker every year for the most part. Joe, I heard some of the show yesterday, as you know, with me texting in my Beatles takes.
Yes.
But I do want to get your thoughts. I did not hear this. Your thoughts on Scooble being traded to the Dodgers.
Yeah. I take away the Tigers fandom. I hate that it's the Dodgers, and
I think everybody does.
And I do. I think that there's a lot of, like, Ken Rosenthal wrote a really good column. Yes, everybody's going to make this about the lockout and everything, but it's like, what are these other teams doing? They are allowed to also offer something. What don't
there's that.
The Dodgers used to be a disaster not that long ago. It's not as simple as revenue. Then you win. I saw a good take from Stilly on that. It's like, well, where are the Mets right now? It's not that simple. But so for baseball, I think it's going to be a lockout, and this is fueling the fire, like it or not, whether it's misguided or not. It sucks as a Tigers fan, but at the same time, it would suck more to lose them for nothing, which is what was going to happen. So to get a top 25 prospect in MLB, he's only the 5th best prospect of the Dodgers organization, but top 25 prospect, a couple arms. And then they traded Casey Mize yesterday. So yeah,
how they got any prospects left? The Dodgers.
It's a good question. Right. All they do is buy every year. I don't know. That's a hell of a. They had a hell of a stockpile, I guess.
I guess so.
But yeah, it sucks. And we'll miss him. And great run. And now root against him. So there you go.
That's
pretty much it. Yeah.
That is pretty much it.
That's about it.
We got a lot going on the program today. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up later in the show at 7:45. We got a lot of training camp stuff on the Titans to get to. We'll take your thoughts throughout the show at 615-737-1025. So, Joe, yesterday, the first day in pads for the Titans. So a little bit more real football, not actual real football, but more real football with the pads coming on. And a lot of conversation yesterday about Cam Ward and basically sifting through like all the different takes and all the different reporting on it. Here's kind of the conclusion that I've left with, Joe, which is for the most part, Ward had a pretty good day, except for, the 2 disastrous interceptions that he threw. So I don't really know what to make of that. Here's what Robert Saleh had to say yesterday on the 2 interceptions that Cam Ward threw at practice.
A couple times rolling out through across his body interceptions. How do you try to balance approaching that? You don't want to take the stinger out, so to speak, but you still want him to be more cautious.
Yeah, those are. I don't want to say they're non-negotiables, but throwing across your body, especially shallow, it's different if you really extend the pocket and it just really opens up for you. But when there's so much traffic in there, the one that Jermaine made was an elite play. That's your check down with regard to a boot. Jermaine made a hell of a play, but usually that check downs, you can count on it being open. But the first one that Hooker intercepted probably was a poor decision.
So that was Robert Saleh yesterday breaking down the interceptions from Cam Ward. So, like I said, Joe, most of the reporting from people who were there would suggest that, it's a pretty good day for Cam Ward, except for, those 2 interceptions. Where do you kind of come down on that? And what did you think of Saleh's explanation of the type of interceptions that he threw yesterday?
Yeah. So also, apparently on both of those plays, there were shots to take, and they weren't taken.
Yeah.
Downfield, there were open receivers downfield, so that's part of it too. But it sounds like one was just like late, the one that Hooker just stepped in front late, and just a bad decision. I mean, cross your body is generally a bad decision, but then the other one, like you said, I mean, typically like you can count on that one. So that was a great play, more of a great play by the defender. So they are different. I think that, the whole like work on stuff and I think that just applies more to quarterbacks who aren't trying to prove themselves at all. The more, again, it's camp. Camp is camp. So like whatever you do is camp. You can throw 1,000 picks, and then if you're the starter, okay, just don't do it in the season. Right. But I feel like the risk-taking throws that don't work out are like, it's easier to explain that away for quarterbacks who like no one's wondering if they're good yet. With Cam, we're wondering. We don't know. We don't know if he's good yet. The throw across your body, yeah. I think that's the point that Saleh's making there is like, if it opens up, a couple of the best plays he made last year was throwing the other way after rolling out, extending a play. Those are also shots, right?
Right.
Like he threw the one that was, I think that was Iowa Manor, I think, right? He was crossing, he was going the other way.
It's his first touchdown pass, yeah.
Right. These are like throw across your body, more like in the middle of the field, shallow, which, that's generally just a no-no, right? So just seems like bad decisions. Also, I've seen some of the throws he made that were really good yesterday, and that's great. It's not the end of the world. It's also not nothing.
Well, yes, I would say on the interception front, do I care all that much that he's throwing interceptions in camp? Not particularly. But I do agree with you that I think sometimes he's just trying stuff gets made a little bit too much when you're talking about younger quarterbacks. Like, maybe that's true. Maybe he is just trying stuff. But I'm more with you. Like, halfway through his career, if Peyton Manning's throwing interceptions in camp, I could not care less.
No
like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, Aaron Rodgers, if he's throwing interceptions in camp, okay, whatever. Like, those are established guys that we've seen play good football for a long stretch of time in the league. And I do think there's a difference there. And frankly, like, I bring up those 2 guys. I don't recall ever really hearing about those 2 guys throwing tons of picks in camp. So there's also that factors into it. Here's probably my main takeaway and what I'm looking for here. You know me, like, we've done this show long enough. I hate training camp practices. Like, people make way too much out of what goes on in training camp practices. And then ultimately we get around to September and actual football starts getting played, and we never mention training camp again. And that's how it works in the NFL. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm really all that upset about Cam Ward throwing a couple picks yesterday. Here's what I would say, though. And this is both in training camp now and kind of dating back to last year. And as we're looking forward to him potentially taking another step this year, it is the number 1 overall pick. And it just kind of feels like to me, and again, we're very early, but it feels like to me, he's either having like bad days where he's missing everybody, or he's having a good day, but then all of a sudden there's like 2 or 3 throws that either get away from him or he makes a bad decision. And at some point, I need the number 1 overall pick, not every day, but every now and then to just have a day where he totally dominates everyone. And I just don't feel like that happens with Cam Ward. So I need to see that moving forward. Like, he's the number 1 overall pick. I need you to have some days in training camp where you just absolutely carve everyone up. And we're probably have to talk to Titans fans off the ledge at the end of the day of, hey, don't get too excited. It's training camp practice.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Yeah. In the next few weeks, I guess I would think that there'd be a day or two like that. So yeah, that'd be good. As your mic,
I don't know what just
I think Kaharski did something to that, man. Yeah, no, it'd be a good to have that, to have a, and of course, there's also if you're in team, there's the question of, I mean, if we believe, and we talked about this yesterday, what's the biggest strength in this team? Probably the defensive front, but that's the biggest weakness, the offensive line. Okay, so that's probably a factor in everything, but at the same time, yeah, I agree. You'd like to have some of that, and that's not going to mean a whole lot, but it just balances it out a little bit. Because, yeah, so is what Kaharski has said. And I feel like that's about right? That's about the overall taking. You definitely want at least some days to be better than
dominant.
That. Yeah.
615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. That's where we're starting today. Cam Ward, apparently, pretty good day yesterday, except for 2 devastating picks. We'll take your thoughts on that. 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game, taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Cam Ward with a couple of picks yesterday in the first day of pads for the Titans. And other than that, apparently had a good day. Now, it was funny because, it's like anything, Joe. You see the reaction from people who were there at practice covering the team. And I think I saw like Austin Stanley from A to Z Sports was like, Cam Ward was great today. He threw a couple picks, but he was great today. I saw like Stilly put on his show. He was like, "Yeah, Cam Ward.
He was bad. He was bad."
I watched Braden and Paul on a football show, and they were talking about, pretty good day, except for the 2 picks that he threw, and it's hard to get those 2 picks out of your mind. So there's always a little bit of debate as to exactly how good the day was, but that's the general consensus of pretty good day, other than 2 catastrophic picks, which obviously you cannot have. One texter says, "It's from Pegram's Finest." Says, is it me or is it refreshing to hear the head coach being honest about players making bad decisions instead of the toxic positivity? What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah. Toxic positivity. I forgot about that term. That's right. The new coaches doing everything right. The old coaches, total idiot losers. That's basically how it goes. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know in this case, the last coach, there's some fair.
The final part of that may be right.
Some fair criticisms to make, but yeah. See, and another thing about these picks is like, if it was, oh man, he took a shot, and it's just like, hey, 50-50 ball, his guy didn't come down with it, or it just that was that was I mean, he was going for it, and you threw a pick. This is across your body, like middle of the field short. It's just like a kind of a basic no generally,
right?
So that's like.
Well, and going back to your conversation, Joe, like of trying stuff in camp, I don't really want you to try that ever.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Like in a game, they would say, just don't do that.
Yeah, just don't do that.
So then don't do it in practice.
Right.
Yeah. As opposed to, sometime in a game, you're going to have to like trust your receiver downfield and say, go make a play for me.
Exactly.
But that's not what this was.
Dylan in Antioch says, I'm with you, Robby. Is it too much to ask for one good day from Cam Ward? Probably. Titans fans would make you think you hate the team if you ask for a clean, no-pick day. Matt in Colorado says, one issue with your expectation on Cam Ward is that the consensus was he was a reach at number 1 overall, and in most other drafts would have gone like 18 to 20. Well, I don't know about that last part. I don't know if he would have gone 18 to 20. There were definitely people who thought Cam Ward was a reach at number 1. I mean, us on the show.
Yeah.
Thought Cam Ward was a reach at number 1. Now, but to me, that's done. The Titans have made that decision, and that's what they did.
Exactly.
So when you make that decision, the expectations of being drafted number 1 come along with that. And I just, again, I'm not panicking over 2 interceptions in an August 3rd training camp yesterday. Like I said, I largely hate training camp practices because I think way too much gets made of it. But I think on the whole, when you factor in the season last year, the OTAs that we talked about, all the inaccuracies and everything going on there and the minicamp and all this stuff, and so far in camp, Kuharski called him so-so yesterday. Well, at some point, I want to see our number 1 overall pick quarterback dominate out there. And he doesn't have to do it every day. Like, I'm not asking him to get out there at practice every day and to never make another mistake again. But every now and then, I think that should happen when you're talking about your number 1 overall pick at quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And, I think Kuharski brought this up yesterday with and I forget what camp was. We of course, forgot what camp was. But there was a camp where, and it might have even stretched into, because obviously Jimmy White's out there. He's got all the stats. It might have stretched even previously in the spring, but like Mariota threw 0 picks, But then it was like, okay, so is that because – but he also wasn't, like, blowing anybody away. So it was like, okay, so he's throwing no picks, but should he take more chances? Should he, like maybe push it a little bit? And obviously, as it turns out, like that doesn't mean much. Mariota eventually was not your starting quarterback. I'd probably – like I guess I would probably rather have days with some spectacular stuff and a mistake or two than like blah days. But also – with Cam Ward, like last year, despite the overall numbers, we saw spectacular. Like he can do that.
Sure.
We know that he can make plays like that. The thing you're striving for here is for consistency, and obviously that's going to take some time in this offense. I mean, that's going to be, I think, a process during the season. But you're looking for consistency. Yeah, you'd like a clean sheet with a bunch of good throws here and there, where it's like, dang, he was good. And then again, the Cam dudes can go nuts, and then everybody can be like, okay, calm down. bring in the What Are You Doings to calm you down a little bit.
But I think we need one of those days. I think we need one of those, one of those. He goes out there and plays really well, and it's like, start planning the parade. Like I think you need some of those days with your number 1 overall pick at quarterback. And the other part of this is, and we'll see. Io Manor apparently had a really good camp so far, and we're still very early into it. Yep. Wan'Dale Robinson, I think, has been up and down to this point. Obviously, there's the number 4 overall pick in Carnell Tate that you're looking at. I mean, everybody would agree your skill position players, particularly at wide receiver, are just in a much better spot than they were a year ago. I mean, it just the depth is way better. Ridley's out there and is healthy right now, so you're feeling good about those things. I think that kind of builds on what I'm talking about, Joe. Is like, if that's the case, I mean, if your receiving core is in that much of a better spot, you should be having some of these days at some point if you're Cam Ward, right? So again, I'm not freaking out about it. I'm not.
It's just a request.
It's just an observation, right? Like I need at some point for him to step up there and have a really great day where it's not like, well, he's pretty good, except for the 2 mind-blowingly catastrophic interceptions that he threw out there. Like, let's have a great day out there at some point.
Yeah. So there's more of the you hit some of the variety of takes. Someone texted in, so like this must be like on their Twitter timeline. Nick Suss in Tennessee says, thought it was his most encouraging day because he was actually slinging it, testing his arm in his offense. Not perfect, but looked good to my eye. Connor Newt's noted, says Cam Ward very, all caps, inconsistent. A couple of great TDs ago with a couple of bad INTs. And then there's a Sharm Sports who says Cam Ward seems to be slinging it, all caps today, making some mistakes, but that's normal. So, yeah, again, it's like, to poo-poo the mistakes. And then some people want to be like, oh, my God, those mistakes. It is eye of the beholder for sure.
Yep.
But, like a day where everyone's like, whoa, awesome would be good.
It would. So we'll see if that happens at some point here. I heard Salah's comments yesterday, and, going back to the text we got earlier in the segment about the coach being willing to call out mistakes. I like that. Now, I don't think Salah was like, overly critical of Cam Ward or was all that concerned about what he saw or anything like that. But, I think when you see a cross-body throw, I like the term they use, like it's non-negotiable. Like you can't be throwing the ball across your body like that, especially like into traffic, right? That's the thing. Like when that's part of why the crossbody thing is so problematic in the NFL is when you don't see what's going on over there. Like you're just, in your head where your receivers are and where the route concepts are going to be and all those things. You have no idea when you're running to your right what's happening behind you, right? You're just like blindly throwing the ball, and sometimes that works out. A lot of times it doesn't in the NFL.
Yeah, LD from McMinnville says, but the crossbody throw is just part of his game. I believe it's not been a secret, so why is everyone surprised? And my response is, but again, crossbody, like downfield, okay, now take that shot, fine. Those can be, but crossbody shallow is just that's a real basic young quarterback. Don't do that because it's so easy for someone to just get in the wash and get in the way.
Well, and we've talked about the picks, like Jimmy Wyatt on TennesseeTitans.com. Kind of threw it out there. He's like, the hooker pick would have been a pick six. Like it's not just a pick, like it's a touchdown going the other way. And it's not, you can't be having those.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to provide touchdowns for the opponent.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. More of your thoughts to get to on Cam Ward. Plus, I do want to weigh in on Will Levis being a top 32 quarterback in the league. We'll do that coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Keep up with Titans training camp with 102.5 The Game for the latest updates, player interviews, and more as you get prepped for the upcoming Titan season. Coverage of training camp presented by Twin Peaks Restaurants, Parman Tractor and Equipment, and Tri-State Water, Power, and Air. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025 and on our YouTube chat, which is flowing on the program so far this morning.
We need something more severe than what are you doing? Jared and Spring Hill is like the what are you doings are homers to Jared and Spring Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy hates Cam.
Yeah.
He likes Cam about as much as you like Mariota.
That's not fair. I like Marcus very fine. He's a great guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
Could not play football. A great guy.
Yeah. Never has completed a pass, but nice guy. Oh, so he says he's wearing propaganda. Oh, humble over hype shirts and hoodies. Okay. It's a religious brand. I didn't know. Did you know this? But humble over hype.
I did not.
Okay.
No. Good to know.
He says if you don't know Carhartt, you won't know this.
I do know Carhartt.
Yeah. I now know Carhartt too.
Yeah. You're a Carhartt expert.
And apparently I now know humble over hype.
There's more work to do.
Yeah.
More work to do there. Well, good to know on that front. Brandon says, if it wasn't for me putting it off the green into the water several times, I'm actually really good at golf. I did see probably a little too much of that yesterday of, great day for Cam Ward, other than the 2 catastrophic picks that he threw.
Fantastic.
Well, those do count, guys.
Except for 2 picks.
The interceptions are a part of it out there.
Someone whose name I won't bring up because, I only do that to torment Kaharski apparently said he had a perfect day.
Yeah, I saw that.
Perfect. Other than the 2 picks.
That's perfect, huh? Cool. All right.
It's going to be a constant spin battle on this from the sides that are dug in, that are convinced.
Yeah.
Convinced he's the dude, convinced he's not the dude. I think most people are not those people. They're the loudest people, though.
Yeah.
People that are convinced he's a dude, convinced he's not the dude, are the loudest people. Most people are ambivalents.
I would agree.
In the middle. Quietly sitting here. Just wondering. We'll find out.
We will find out. I mean, the one thing, and Braden and PK were talking about this on a football show. Like, when the pads come on, I think everybody's energy level comes up a little bit. I mean, when you don't have pads on, and we've talked about that from the line of scrimmage, like there's only so much you can really take away. We're going to get into here in a few minutes Salah's philosophy on like one-on-one drills. And I actually thought that stuff was pretty interesting yesterday. They talked about, we'll get into that here in just a minute. But, when the pads come on, it's at least resembling actual football being played. So the energy level goes up. And from everything, people were talking about yesterday, I mean, Cam did exactly what you would expect there. Like his energy level went up. The leadership was on display. Like all these things that I think we know about him at this point. Like I have no doubt that Ward is going to be a good leader. I think he's going to be a good leader. I think he's wired the right way. I think he's going to put in the work. I think he's going to be beloved by his teammates. Like I think all his teammates, like all those things that we talk about that go into playing quarterback, I feel really good about with him. And it's not unimportant. But as we've discussed 1,000 times on this show, not just with him, but with a lot of different quarterbacks that have cycled through here at this point, like what can you hit the layups over and over and over again? And can you avoid the catastrophic mistakes most of the time? I mean, you're never going to get through an entire NFL season without throwing a horrific interception. I have seen some very good quarterbacks throw horrific interceptions in the middle of a season, and you'll see it again this year. But as you're getting into year 2 here, can you make some of those plays that I think he's naturally gifted to make down the field, make good decisions, but also like when you got an 8-yard route in front of you, can you just hit it, right? When you got a 15-yard out route and a wide open receiver on the sideline, can you hit it? I mean, those are the things that are going to determine ultimately whether or not he's the starting quarterback in 2028 and 2029 and beyond that.
Yeah. He's got to throw strikes, man. Got to throw strikes. And you got to, obviously, there's going to be a time when we won't talk anymore about, system and all that stuff. And that's part of it. It's a new system is part of it. New OC is part of it. I think it's an upgrade, but it's still new. And then the O-line and all the other things around them is part of it too. But at some point, it really does boil down to that. And all those things you talk about are really important, but there's a lot of great guys. And some of them are backups in the league, who have all those qualities, but they're just not quite good enough. Like Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
you go. The guy who's here is just like, Like, there's a lot to like about him, and he's good enough to go out in an NFL game and play, and he could win you a game, but like he's just not good enough to be a starter. That's what he is. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's how it turns out for a lot of these guys. May turn out that way for Cam. I don't know, but right now, I mean, I like Kate on the YouTube chat. The fans are starved for good football. Titans lowered the bar themselves by being ass. Yeah, I mean, people are starved for good news, and again, some people are just out on him, and so I think that's extreme. I think being convinced he's the guy is extreme too. But I think that the people that are out on him, it's going to start tilting their way if we don't start seeing something different this year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's training camp practice. We're going to get into here pretty shortly the joint practices with the Niners coming up and the preseason games and more meaningful information as camp goes along here, as meaningful as an information you can have in training camp. We're certainly not there yet when it comes to August the 3rd yesterday. So we're going to start to step into some of that over the next couple of weeks here. And hopefully as that happens, you see him elevate. I mean, that's what this year really is about. Elevate. That's what you need to see from Cam Ward. I do want to weigh in on this. I'm sure you and Kuharski talked about this a little bit yesterday. The Will Levis comments of how he knows that there are not 32 quarterbacks in the league better than him right now. Look, let me start by that. I have no problem with Will Levis saying that. Like, clearly there's a belief that he's got in himself. I think probably a little bit of a misguided belief that he's got in himself. But this is not the first time, Joe, that a player has expressed confidence when asked about their future moving forward. I mean, frankly, like, I don't know what I think the question was, do you feel like you're still going to be a starter at some point? Is he going to say, nope, I'm in big trouble right now. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. So I don't necessarily have a problem with Will Levis saying what he said. I think the disconnect that I have with it is the league, and I don't know what you guys said yesterday, but the league is speaking pretty loudly differently right now on the 32
absolutely.
thing. Like, I mean, he's not even a backup somewhere. No one has traded for him to become a backup.
Well, and Karski said during this, yes, as we talked about, he's like, by the way, like, no one has tried to get him. It's like they've
also no one's even called.
Right.
So, well, I mean, that kind of tells you that even further, right? Of there is a disconnect
from his
right
understanding
now.
from what he's been able to gather. Yes.
Okay. So there's a disconnect right now in like, what Will Levis is thinking and what the league is saying. And I think it's been a foregone conclusion around here for a lot of Titans fans, but like me too. Like I've always thought over the last few months that, at some point somebody's going to call and the Titans are going to trade Will Levis for like a 7th round pick and he's going to go somewhere else and it'll be somebody's backup at some point and that'll be what it is. And it hasn't happened yet. And then minicamp comes and it still hasn't happened. And now training camp's here and it hasn't happened. And, he's going to get, I would assume, an opportunity to play a pretty significant amount of snaps in the preseason games that are coming up here. I mean, if he's as good as he thinks he is, he ought to light it up in the preseason based on, the defenses and the quality of players that he's going to be playing against. We'll see what that looks like and if more tape can get him, a different feeling around the NFL. But right now, like there's a giant gap between what Will Levis thinks of himself, which again, I have no problem with, and what the league says right now. And I don't know, like, is that gap going to be closed in the next month?
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, if Kaharski had any guts, he would have asked him, so is Cam Ward one of the quarterbacks of the 32 that you're better than?
Well,
But Kaharski, doesn't, he's afraid to ask real
Can
questions.
you rank them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
where do you come in? Are you 31st?
Levis is like, I'm 17th, actually. Here, let me give you the 15 who are behind me. But, I did say at some point recently, I think that Levis still right now at this moment has more value, has more potential to be of interest to someone else than Malik Willis did at this point in the camp that he was traded. I believe
I would agree.
And now Malik Willis, pretty close to from the start and consistently in that camp. You saw improvement. You saw it in the games. We know what happens from there, right? I mean, and at that point, it was like, oh, wow, the Packers took a flyer on him. Good for them. Now he's a starter. I'm not saying that's going to happen for Levis. I'm just saying I do think that the preseason games can do something for him. So there you go. Like he's going to get an opportunity. So, okay, let's see it. I think with him, it's also, there's a lot of the great throw. Wow. Good. And then it's like, oh, no, missed that one. That was a touchdown. Or there's a pick. Like it seems like with him too, it's like there's some good stretches, but then some killer mistakes. So in these games, these preseason games, yeah, I think he's going to get, I mean, I don't even know why, like, Trubisky's your QB too. That's what it's going to be. You want to get Cam. I think you'd like to get the offense a little bit of work together. I mean, Hendon Hooker isn't really getting much team stuff right now, so I feel like Levis is going to get the bulk of it, and it makes sense. I mean, because I think if you could somehow get a 6 out of it or whatever, you swap a 7th for a 6. To me, that's a win for you. That's probably about as good as it's going to get.
Yeah,
but that's better than nothing.
Well, the other thing is, like, it's been a long time at this point since he's played football too. So I mean, there's, I'm not going to act like my intrigue on Will Levis at this point as the 3rd string quarterback for the Titans is all that high, but it does give you something to watch in the preseason games, right? Like once they mow through the 9 plays or whatever it's going to be from Ward and the starters, I'll be honest with you, I'm not all that interested in watching Mitch Trubisky play. I've seen Mitch Trubisky play a lot. I know what he is, and there's nothing wrong with it. He can be a decent backup quarterback in the league.
He's a QB too.
I don't need to see a whole lot of Mitch Trubisky in the preseason. That's just me. So from that standpoint, I am intrigued to watch Levis play. Now, I will say this. He better go out there and play well in the preseason, because if you're sitting here spouting off about how there's not 32 quarterbacks in the league better than you, and you can't go out there and light up some 3rd stringers, we're going to have a problem at that point, right?
Yes. Now, the thought of a Titans 3rd string offensive line is freaking terrifying. But yes. No, I agree. Ron says, this is a great question. 2 minutes left of the game. You need a touchdown. Who would you rather have lead you, Marcus or Levis? To me, that's an easy, fast Marcus all day. Let me smash the button. But Robby may think differently.
No, it's Marcus.
Okay.
Yeah. Guys, Levis was horrific. Like, Marcus was not good, but Marcus was at least, like, at times in his career, a serviceable NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know that Will Levis has been a serviceable NFL quarterback.
He's had some good games.
Yeah.
So there is that. But, yeah, I think there's a pretty big difference in that. K-Dot, who has a bigger ego, Will Levis or Diego Pavia? Poor Diego Pavia getting roped into this. My goodness. Leave the poor kid alone.
Does Will Levis have himself, how far does Will Levis have himself ranked ahead of Pavia? That'd be another question.
I don't know.
Where's Diego Pavia on your quarterback list, Will? Where's 106th?
Where's Diego Pavia, period?
That's a good question. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Something that Robert Saleh said yesterday I found to be very fascinating that we'll get into coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. The Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up in about an hour from now at 7:45. Robert Saleh with an interesting discussion yesterday on how he views like individual drills and one-on-ones at training camp. I thought his response and kind of his answer of what we're going to see on the drill front moving forward is pretty interesting as it relates to one-on-ones. Here's what Titans head coach Robert Saleh had to say yesterday.
Circling back to what you said on Saturday, can you explain what we should expect to see from your one-on-ones tomorrow?
Yeah. So when you look traditionally throughout football, at least over the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years, one-on-ones has been the second biggest period with regards to injury. And you find that in one-on-ones, you get like a linebacker and a linebacker and a running back running 10 yards apart, just colliding with one another, or you run routes where you wouldn't necessarily run those routes out in an actual timing and rhythm of a play. You got triple moves, just all these kind of hokey routes. So we run kind of a 7-on-7 man only, normal spacing, put the quarterback through a normal cadence. Where you're getting 5 one-on-ones at one time with real authentic routes within a play call. And we match up the players the way we need to make sure that we're getting the matchups that we all want to see. Same thing you saw the running backs and linebackers have a one-on-one today with regards to protection, a little bit tighter, a little bit closer. So it's really kind of injury prevention, but at the same time, you're still getting that competitive aspect of it where it's a one-on-one.
How about the big guys?
The big guys, I leave it up to them on whether or not they want to get those one-on-ones. Like I said, it's unrealistic, but if the big guys want to use an individual to get a one-on-one, and they can.
So that was Saleh yesterday on kind of his philosophy on the one-on-one drills. Number one, I guess I didn't know that on the injury front of, I
didn't know that.
Second from what they've dug up here, the second most common injury occurrence at camp practices are the one-on-one drills. So, I mean, that's interesting information. So from that standpoint, the injury prevention stuff, I'm all for. But I think we've probably talked about this on the show too. Like, I've always thought in training camp practices, like too much gets made of the one-on-one stuff because it's not football. Like it's
fun for fans to watch.
Yes, in the course of a football game, you will have one-on-one matchups, and I guess to a certain degree, like, football is a game of one-on-one matchups that you have to win more often than not. But it's all within the context of whatever play you're calling. There's protections on the line that you've got to call, and you got to operate together. As a defense, like you're blitzing or you're not blitzing, you're dropping into cover. Like there's so many things going on around you that influence what your responsibility is on a particular play that very rarely is it just, all right, you wide receiver line up against this guy, and you're both running straight.
Yeah, you got the
and
whole
then you just
field.
it's a jump ball down in the middle, and you can sit there, and if you're not open immediately, you can do a triple move, and you'll have the quarterback's got enough time to throw it. Like it's not overly realistic, and that's basically what you heard Robert Saleh say in that answer is, the one-on-one stuff's not all that realistic. So I kind of like the approach of get in the 7-on-7. You've got actual route concepts that you're trying to get done out there. And I mean, you're going to have some one-on-one matchups, but it's within the construct of like an actual football play, which I like.
Yeah. You don't have the entire field. You have concepts that, routes that go together. You got things a little bit more muddled. So it's a little bit more it's just like more real, more game-like. And like he said, I love the hokey pokey because that is what happens out there with some of those. It's just like boom, boom, and then another move, and it's like, first of all, the
quarterback's flat on his back at this point.
Yeah, no one's covering that anyway. And then it's like it's a fun period for fans to watch because you get to see a lot of deep shots and you get to see offense win way more. But it doesn't have much of it. I guess the injury part of it, I guess maybe that's like from a soft tissue perspective, just because you're like
cutting
all out sprinting and cutting that many times in one. That's a really interesting fact. I would definitely not mess with it.
I would love to know what's the number one period of.
Well, injuries? I assume that team, right?
I guess.
Team and pads when you're actually playing some football. It's got to be it, right?
I would assume so. Yeah. So I mean that part of it I thought was really interesting. Like, look, a big story that we're going to be talking about all year long is like Saleh, in his second stop as head coach. I do like that there's an attempt here he seems to be really hyper-focused in on like, here's what matters is actual football rather than all this other stuff. Like, probably to a little bit of an annoying level. Like throughout minicamp, it was like, if you'd ask him about something, he's like, well, pads aren't on, doesn't really matter yet. And then the first day pads come on, they got asked yesterday about like, all right, so you said all offseason long that you can't really evaluate anything till the pads come on. So how about today? He's like, yeah, you can't evaluate anything after one day of pads.
These first 2 days are duds.
Yeah. So, I mean, that part of it's kind of interesting. But I do like from him and this coaching staff of like, let's try to maximize what we're doing out there and have everything directly related to playing football games. Like that's what training camp really is. Like it's preparing yourself and your team to play actual football games. And I do think there's been too much, in today's NFL, and we can get into the positives and the negatives of whether or not like taking 2 a days away and how limited you are in pads is actually good or not good or all those things. But I do think there's probably a little bit too much, to use his phrase, like hokey pokiness that's gone out there. Is like, there's 25 minutes of one-on-ones where it's just running backs and linebackers matched up against each other. And let's play a little football out there as close as you can.
Yeah. Well, in the context of the discussion we've been having about head injuries, like it's not going to change, not going back because the accumulation of hits is one of the things that they're trying to cut down, which of course still makes it hilarious that we're going to go to 18 games when the hits are really 100% real hits. But that's one of the concessions that the players, they're going to have less practice, less physical practice, less. So you're going to have more offensive line struggles, I think, probably especially early in seasons. I think that's a big thing in the NFL in recent years. It's like a pretty consistent thing. But there's still going to be some real football in there. I mean, in a week, they're going to go have a practice out in San Fran. So those are always, good. But yeah, I think he has some interesting thoughts on things that seem to make a lot of sense. And, some of this stuff is just kind of, running around and just, it doesn't apply much to Sundays.
And we'll see, like I said, the calendar is going to flip to September at some point, and we're going to be playing actual football games. And hopefully we'll never bring up training camp again until, next training camp. So that's going to be what it is. But I kind of feel like Saleh kind of used it that way too of, all right, let's get in and out of here. Let's try to remain as healthy as we possibly can. Let's get ourselves ready to actually play football. Like that's what this is supposed to be about. And sometimes I think we get caught up in the minutia of all these drills that we're doing, all these one-on-one garbage. And then you get to the actual football games. And you're like, okay, let's play football out there. And yeah. I like that from Saleh and this staff. We'll see if it actually means anything when the season comes around.
Yeah, and we'll see how he then applies that to his decision making in the games in terms of you want to avoid the injury, but
right.
How ready are you? How ready is this offense to go out and like block a real defense in the NFL?
We got any substations around here?
That's a good question.
49ers are getting bit by that substation out there.
Substation. I mean, we've already seen some injuries out there.
So every time they have an injury, that's what people.
It's a substation. Yeah,
it's a substation. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know how close the nearest substation is to the Titans practice facility. Maybe something we need to figure out.
Yep. Just to head on a swivel out there.
Well, apparently they're going to go out there and lose half their team in 1 day practicing out there,
losing more by the day.
Be calling the Niners like, you guys move practice somewhere else. There's some high school out there.
San Jose,
yeah,
Stanford.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We spent a whole lot of time talking about some very specific young players around here, and there's a veteran guy that I feel like not only us, but a lot of people have largely ignored, and we're not going to do that next. We're going to get right into it coming up next as it relates to the Tennessee Titans. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Hey, Robby Stanley here. Make sure you select Twin Peaks for your fantasy football draft party. They've got 29-degree draft beers, bites for the whole team, and a $50 bonus card for the commish, and an additional $5 bonus card for every drafter. The Twin Peaks Fantasy Football Draft Party Package gives league commissioners and its members an elevated, easy experience, along with scenic views, made-from-scratch food, and the coldest beer in the game. Call to book your draft party at the Twin Peaks Madison location. Visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/fantasy draft for more information. Now, number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Tuesday morning. I almost called Ian Cam Ward. It very closely came to happen.
I wonder Cam Ward,
Ian's
producer for
Ian
the
is
day.
tier 1.
Cam Ward producing today.
I wonder how
on
he
today's
did.
program.
I wonder how he'd do back here.
If he throws about 5 picks today, he might be.
We're not going to fire him that quickly, Joe. Don't worry.
Special intern.
Might want to start
Cam
thinking
Ward.
about your next move. You know what I mean?
Never too early to start thinking about
That's
it.
right. Life after football.
We are presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Bijan Robinson just signing a contract, 3-year extension with the Falcons worth up to $75 million, becomes the highest paid running back in NFL history. So there you go, Bijan
Okay.
Robinson.
All right. They got it done with Bijan, and now Jahmyr Gibbs, who's like holding in with the Lions. We'll see if he gets a bigger deal than that. I don't know. Like,
Does he deserve more than Robinson? I think that's an interesting question.
It is a really interesting question because he has been part of really more of a split backfield, but I also think that he's about to be very much a primary weapon. Boy, it's close on who's better, man. It's
very close.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're both very good.
I might lean Bijan just a little bit, but Gibbs is pretty freaking good. So, does it just being second, does that just automatically mean you get like $1 more?
Is the hold in? Is he
Sometimes.
like he's just hanging out in his locker?
I don't know, but I know that somebody asked, like, he's like, he's out there, but he's not going out there. And he said, it's not about the contract. He's like, what's it about? Yeah. What's it about? I mean, I guess it's like, I just don't want to play. I'll see it in week 1. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that would also,
actually, that's fine.
He would qualify as someone that probably doesn't need to participate in training camp all that much.
Barry used to show up 3 days.
Like they got to the point where the Titans where I was like, you guys really going to make Derrick Henry, put his equipment on and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Just send him in the gym or something,
Wasted. Yeah.
You don't need to be out there.
Wasted shower.
Just too much time on his feet.
Yeah.
Just rest the feet. Keep him ready to go. We will. Mike Sando's quarterback tiers that he does annually are out. We will get into that coming up here in just a few minutes on the show. Joe, there is a player that I feel like because of the investment level around him and how important the younger guys that play his position are going to ultimately be for the Tennessee Titans and the success or failure of what the defense is going to look like. And frankly, like some of how we're going to view Mike Borgonzi. We don't talk about this guy a lot, but Jermaine Johnson, I mean, he's going to play a lot for the Titans this year. He has been at the height of his powers in the NFL, a good player. I mean, he made the Pro Bowl in 2023 with 7.5 sacks. You're talking about 2 games played before the injury in 2024. And then last year he played in 14 games coming back from the injury. And we've talked about when you've got a big injury, especially on the line up front, like sometimes it takes you a year to get back. And we're talking about a guy that's going to be 27 this year in the NFL. So theoretically, still some good football left in Jermaine Johnson. He made the interception yesterday that we've talked about with Cam Ward. Again, 7.5 sacks a few years ago with the Jets. There's obviously familiarity there from Robert Saleh and the system that he runs and all those things. And one of the first moves they made after Saleh was hired was trading T'Vondre Sweat for Jermaine Johnson. So he's going to be an important part of the 2026 version of the Tennessee Titans, even with Keldrick Falk and Femi Oladejo and the investment that they've got there. What do you think should be a fair expectation for Jermaine Johnson heading into this year, another year removed from the injury, and knowing that, not that long ago, there was a 7.5 sack season in him prior to the injuries taking place?
Yeah, I think he's definitely, I think he's definitely one of those guys who we're going to potentially talk about more during the season than we are now, and I think he's going to be a mainstay. I think it's going to be hard to get him out of the field. It's interesting because, we are so focused on the young guys. One, coming off kind of a zero rookie year and now kind of changing positions. He's a second-round pick. Of course, there's going to be a lot of focus on the first-round pick. And there's going to be movement there. There's going to be rotation. We know Saleh likes to rotate for sure a lot, but But I think Jermaine Johnson's gonna be on the field all the time for this team, and I think it's kind of exciting to think about that year after the Achilles. I think that's a real thing. He's not a 300-pounder, but you're talking about a 6'5", 260-ish, right, type player. That you should expect that first year to be limited, even as good as they've gotten at repairing these Achilles, and they've accelerated the timeline. So it's all signs point to him being a really good pickup. We of course know he knows the system, so there's plug and play familiarity. And I just think that once we get a few games of the season, like we're going to be talking about, obviously Simmons and Franklin Myers is like the strength of the team, but I think Jermaine Johnson is the one guaranteed constant guy out there who's going to get a lot of snaps, and I think he could be pushed to be like a double-digit sack guy, or at least a 6 to 8 sack guy this year.
Yeah, like I am very curious to see if he can remain healthy. What kind of a player is it? Because the other part of this is he's going to be looking for another contract, right? So you're talking about a contract that he is going to want, whether it's with the Titans or someone else. And I know if you're a Titans fan, you're probably looking at it and you're saying, all right, well, if he has a great year, what is that going to look like in terms of like if you're Borgonzi trying to allocate the money? Because you do have Oladejo and you do have Keldrick Falk, and hopefully those guys are going to turn into, a dynamic pass rushing duo for you at some point. It would be a great problem for the Titans to have if at the end of this season, Joe, they're looking at it and they're saying, well, we do have Oladejo and we do have Falk, and both of those guys made some progress this year, but we also need to go pay Jermaine Johnson because he was that good for us. Like, that would be a good problem to have. So I don't know what that's going to look like. We're a long way away from that. If he could get back to, like, I would sign up for 7.5 sacks for him right now. Like, I don't know that I've got a ton of confidence that he's going to be like some double-digit sack guy, but if he can get back to the player he was in 2023, and you have, along with that, Falk stepping up and getting better as the year goes, Oladejo being way better in year 2 than he was in year 1. Well, if that's the case,
Jacob Martin will be out there.
Jacob Martin will be out there. If that's the case, that's when you start to look at the front and you say, well, if you've got sufficient pressure from your edge rushers, plus you've got John Franklin Myers and Jeffrey Simmons up the middle, that's what's going to turn this defense into being a really good defense.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea of both of those young guys showing promise and looking like they have a future, and then the question of paying him, because you could make a case, you have to, all the other things you have to worry about, including, offensive tag, whatever. You have so many things you have to worry about elsewhere. It's great to have that depth, but would you pay him if you feel like those two guys can be bookends and you can go on their rookie deals, and like those could be your starting level players in 2027? I don't know. He'd have to be awfully good.
He would,
I think, for that to be the case. But yeah, it's a problem you want to have. That's definitely the problem you want to have.
I mean, the other scenario would be like, let's say Johnson has a good year and you don't see that much improvement from Oladejo to the point where it's like, is this going to end up being a really bad second-round pick? Well, then you may have to pay him at that point, right? Like, there's a bunch of different ways it could go with Jermaine Johnson. And I mean, the other possibility is after the injury, he's just nowhere close to the same player that he used to be.
That's
and
possible too.
There's a wide range of possibilities with Jermaine Johnson, which is part of what I think makes him so intriguing heading into this year.
Yeah. You forget that he's 27. I mean, really, he's played. He had a rookie year, and it was his second year when he kind of busted out. And then, of course, 2 games into last year, second game, or not last year, 24 is when he has the injury. So, like, he hasn't, he's had the 1 year to get acclimated, and then the one good year, and then it's kind of, now this is the year that you hope it all comes back. And with the contract being at stake, obviously it's critical for him. So whatever his best is, you expect that's what you're going to see.
By the way, he tore his Achilles against the Titans in week 2 of that year. I guess I've forgotten that, but week 2 against the Titans that year, he tore his Achilles.
Why do I not remember that game?
That
was the bowling ball game.
That was the bowling
Will
ball
Levis
game for
bowling
Will
ball
Levis.
game.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the week after he had underhand shovel passed it 50 yards across the field.
I totally don't remember that injury.
I don't either.
But that's the NFL,
Yeah,
too.
it is.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on Jermaine Johnson. Plus, Mike Sando's quarterback tiers are out. Very interesting list. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, 1025 The Game, for live shows and exclusive content. We will have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming your way later this hour at 7:45. Joe, the quarterback tier list from Mike Sando is out. This is one of my favorite exercises at The Athletic. I would rank all things written by Rexrode number 1.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sando definitely comes up in the top 5 after that in terms of the quarterback tier list that he does. And Sando, friend of the show, we usually have on.
Did you know Joe writes for The Athletic?
Several times every year. Joe does write for The Athletic, does a great job. And this is, again, for those unfamiliar with this process. So there's a quarterback list that Sando comes out with that basically rank the quarterback in tiers, but it's not Mike Sando coming up with the list. Like, he's talking with executives and coaches and all of these people who are actually not only in the NFL, but in a lot of cases, Joe, are game planning against these quarterbacks or were involved in evaluating these quarterbacks in the draft process, just all these things that go into it. So I think there's, real interesting value that comes out of this. And they kind of separate the rankings every year in different tiers. So, for instance, there's 4 tier 1 quarterbacks this year. And then you move down to tier 2 and tier 3 and tier 4, and you get to the bottom of it. And you start to, obviously with some of the rookies that are coming in this year, they're not going to be on the list because you don't know exactly what they're looking at. But I think this thing goes all the way down to Shedeur Sanders is at 35. I think he's the last one on the list. So it goes down pretty deep into the explanation of all these quarterbacks that we've seen play.
Where's
Levis? Congrats to
Where's
Shedeur.
Levis?
Just outside of the top 35.
Okay.
Did not make it.
All right. Yeah. So Shedeur Sanders is, I guess, Mr. Relevant of the tiers. I like the tier. I like this. We got new formatting this year. Fancy. I like it.
Fancy.
I like it. With these designers, but tier movers is interesting. So Lamar Jackson goes back to tier 2, the top of tier 2. CJ Stroud goes back from 2 to 3.
Yep.
May, Williams, Darnold, Lawrence all go up from 3 to 2. And then Daniel Jones from 4 to 3, which is, man, that might even be still, I don't know. Daniel Jones was awfully good last year. But yeah, that's probably fair. So you have Hurts brings up the rear of tier 2, which I think is, I think that's respect for him that some people do not have. Like, that's where, like Jalen Hurts. Some people would look at it and say, wow, he's only 17th, but I feel like Jalen Hurts, after last year, people are like, want to cast him back to like tier 4.
Which is kind of amazing considering the fact that he's won a Super Bowl and he's played really well in another one that he lost.
Right. He was the best player on the field in the Super Bowl that he won.
Yeah.
Like, for people who don't remember. I feel like Cam Ward is I think that there's some respect there, in my opinion, at 25.
Well, he's at 25 on the list, and it's interesting kind of some of the commentary that goes with it. So this is from a defensive coach whose team played against Cam Ward last year. Quote, "He is a young gunslinger, extremely confident. I think they got to tighten up how he plays the game because he is really like a playground quarterback. I don't know how much he's doing it by the book or how it's designed to do, but he's going to make some plays." There's another offensive coach that says he does not give you confidence that he sees it well and can operate on time when it's not clean. The mark of a quarterback in this league is the pocket is collapsing. You have to anticipate. You have to know what you're looking at and why, and you have to be able to do it in that environment. I didn't see any signs of him being able to do that. This is from an offensive coach from a year ago.
That's interesting. Also interesting is he is a split with coaches and execs. So however you feel about that, and honestly, I would side with coaches over execs. And execs evaluate players; they pick players. But all 4 of Cam's tier 2 votes were from executives. So the coaches were more down on him than the execs. You got an exec who said Cam Ward, quote, "Cam Ward's going to be really, really good. But he's a 3 now. He has comments. He can throw the ball. He's fearless in a sense, not afraid to make mistakes. It doesn't carry over with him. He has to refine some of his touches, some of his decision-making, but that's all with experience and playing." Obviously, that offensive coach's commentary is concerning. If he's right, that's not good.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like he said, the mark of the quarterback is pockets collapsing. You have to anticipate. I think that there were times last year when he navigated that, and I thought at times he ran himself into sacks, and ultimately, if you have an offensive line, if you don't give him better offensive line play, I don't know how much better we're going to see him get. But that's alarming. That quote's alarming.
Oh, if you're curious, like he's kind of right in the run of second-year quarterback. So, for instance, I mean, Jackson Dart is at 24, right ahead of Ward. Ward's at 25. Tyler Shuck's at 26. So, kind of those
right in there.
There's those three quarterbacks that we've talked a lot about that are heading into their second year of kind of right there, puzzled up together. You know, the veteran quarterbacks that are right in front of him, like at 23, Kyler Murray, and then behind him at 26, which I guess is tied for Shuck, is Tua. So that's kind of where he falls in the mix of those things. If you're curious for the tier 1 quarterbacks this year, there's only 4. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's like 5 or 6. But this year only 4. That would be Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, and Burrow are your tier 1 quarterbacks this year. Lamar Jackson.
Disrespect for Lamar. That's fine. He'll just go win another MVP. A tier 2 MVP.
He might do that. We'll see. Herbert at number 6, which just continues to boggle my mind, but that's where he's at.
Yeah, people love him. The talent, the talent's
good
there.
Talent.
Yeah. It gets into and look. He's made plays to win games. He's had winning drives, big time throws late. Yeah, again the D coordinator and him quote, how long has he been in the league now? Never won a playoff game? I get it, but like if you're the guy at some point, I feel like they've been sniffing around enough. He should have had more accolades at this point.
I would agree.
And I think that's why. So 6 of the 8 GM, so he pulled 8 GMs. They put Herbert in the top 2. So he's another exec, loved by execs, not as much by coaches. I think I'd rather be loved by coaches than execs.
I think I would too.
But like, there's also coaches who have bad opinions.
There.
You know, it's like, so I don't know, but
Callahan get a vote?
I don't know. That's it. I don't know, and I won't know.
Yeah. The top 10: Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, Dak Prescott at number 7. Drake May and Jared Goff tied at 8, and then number 10, Jordan Love. So those are your top 10 on the quarterback tiers. For some reason, everybody makes a big deal of the top 10. So
put that Lion ahead of the Packer. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a little disrespect. I mean, I'm interested. I was interested to see where Drake May was going to end up after the year he had last year, and I think 8th is about right. I mean, he had an MVP quality season a year ago. Now the question is going to be, can he do it again this year? And then because we've seen quarterbacks that were really young have very good years, and then part of turning into one of these tier 1 guys is doing it every year, and that's what those guys do. You know what Josh Allen's going to do every year. You know what Stafford's going to do. You know what Mahomes is going to do. Like that's your tier 1 guys. When they're healthy, they're on, and we'll see if May turns into one of those guys by this time next year.
Yeah. I think he could, but I think that's. I think that's fair for sure. I mean, I think your guy Jordan Love ahead of Caleb Williams, so that's. But they've got Caleb Williams moving up to very interesting. The Caleb Williams and Brock Purdy tie at 11. Yep. That's a really interesting one, and there's Baker at 14, tied with Darnold. Some people would think that's a little disrespect for Darnold after last year.
I mean, he did.
Baker's freaking good, and Bo Nix, is that disrespect for Bo Nix to have him as tier 3? He's the top of tier 3, 18. Yeah. I think that's not disrespect, but some people might.
Some people, I'm sure his coach probably does. We'll see what that looks like. I tell you, the most intriguing guy on the entire list to me. This is the most intriguing player on this entire list. At number 13 is Jaden Daniels, and I am really interested to see what he is this year, because obviously he was phenomenal as a rookie. He takes Washington to the NFC title game. So he was great as a rookie, injury plagued last year. Now, in year 3, assuming he stays healthy, what is he? I think there's a defensive coach in here that basically just says he's got to reprove it. What is he? That he might be, in terms of like where people are on this list, the most intriguing guy to me to see where he ends up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think his poise and what he did as a rookie, I don't think that's fake. I don't think that's flash in the pan fool's gold. I mean, I just think he has this incredible ability to slow the game down when he's on the field. But the fair point made by similar to Lamar Jackson, that if you can't run, that takes away value. Then you have the taking the hits. He is slight. That's to me is the worry with him, is he's slight, really much more slight than like Lamar Jackson is, and so to really maximize what he can do to shred defenses, but then you really do need to try to keep him out of harm's way, because I think he could be a candidate for. Yeah, people who can stay healthy in college football, and then they come to the NFL, and it's just a different deal.
David from Watertown asking if Joe Burrow has done enough in the last 3 years to be considered a tier 1 quarterback before any games are played. I mean, I think with this exercise, you're assuming health.
Yeah, exactly.
When he's been healthy, yeah. I mean, the guy has been go look at the numbers. The guy has been unbelievable when he's been healthy. The big question with him is whether or not he's going to remain healthy, and that's beyond a fair question with him at this point.
But I mean, even like there's a GM quota that says he put him 2 because of the injury. So some people still like take that into account. Didn't keep him on a tier 1, but yeah, healthy Joe Burrow is absurd. He also has absurd, talent around him. That's like some of the knock on Goff, and I get it. It's like one of the quotes on Goff is he's respected, but he's not feared. The fear is when he gets the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs, when he gets the ball to Jameson Williams, when he gets the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's what you're scared of. But that's all. It's if you're a quarterback that can play point guard and distribute the ball, then that's good.
Yep. 615-737-1025, our phone number. More of your thoughts on Mike Sando's quarterback tier list. Cam Ward coming in at number 25. We'll take your reaction to that. Plus, a quarterback competition around the NFL that is very intriguing to me. We'll get into that coming up next as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Mike Sando's quarterback tier list is out. Cam Ward coming in at number 25 on the list. Ron on the text line, Joe, asking about where the other AFC South quarterbacks rank on this thing. I believe
Trevor's got
Trevor
some
Lawrence is at the top of the AFC South portion of this, and he is coming in at number 15, I believe.
16.
So it's,
right at the bottom there of tier 2, just ahead of Jalen Hurts. So it's Lawrence and Jalen Hurts bring up the rear of tier 2.
And you mentioned Stroud going from tier 2 to tier 3. Stroud is at number 20 on the list. So Lawrence at 16, Stroud at 20, Daniel Jones at 21, and Ward at 25. Those are your AFC South quarterback rankings on the QB tier list from Mike Sando.
I would like to see this sorted that way, divisionally.
Send an email,
I mean, we could do it, like you got what's your AFC West? You got number 1.
Yeah.
Are you surprised, Patrick Mahomes? I mean,
yes, I am surprised.
You
Mahomes
are
is number
surprised?
1. Yes. I thought he would be. I mean, I'm not surprised he's in tier 1. I thought after the year that they had last year that he would be maybe second or third. I thought Allen would be number 1.
Yeah. I think with Allen, those picks, man.
I know
in the playoffs, like it's just like it happened.
Listen, I have no problem with Mahomes being number 1.
Yeah.
I just am surprised that he is number 1.
One exec, mentions Mahomes, no run game, really bad spot. Then you missed Rashee Rice. He was good when he came back, and then the wheels fell off against Houston. He got hurt. So he said, I bet he gets some 2-tier votes here. He did not. He got 1. He got 1 tier 2 vote, which is a GM who said he's not carrying them every week anymore. Now he's coming off an injury. He's going to deteriorate physically. So some of these quotes are like anticipating injuries,
Yep.
right? To an extent, but bottom line is it's still 1. Probably what would be your best quarterback division just off the top of your head? I mean, in the AFC East, you have Allen at 2 and you have Drake May, but then the problem is you get the Jets and Dolphins, so that drags your average down.
Well, I mean, if you want to go by like right
NFC
around
West.
the NFC North, got Love, Goff, and Williams all right there at 8 through 11.
8, 10, 11, but then Murray's 23.
Right.
NFC West has Stafford tied for 2.
Yep.
That's the thing is Darnold is still
They have Jacoby Brissett at 33.
Yeah, and then you got that. Yeah, it's like there's always like someone.
The Cardinals ruining it.
There's like someone who weighs you down. There's got to be a division where like everybody's good, right? Not the NFC East because you got the Giants in there.
I think NFC North might be
I think the North is it.
I think
North
so.
might be the best, but you still have that 23.
But Kyler could move up. His skills are probably better than 23
I would agree.
Yeah, for
talent
sure.
wise.
I'm just if you're going by this, but yeah, that probably is the best average because everybody's got, the AFC West. I mean, Cousins is like what was he 31?
28th.
Or 20. Okay,
I seen a video of Cousins doing some. That I showed that to you. His back and forth, his lines.
I could have outdone him on that. Yes.
He looks like he could be
Ready for some shuffleboard
for the YMCA.
Yeah.
Listen, he's never been an athletic specimen, man, but he puts the ball where it needs to go most of the time.
Yes, he does. I really, I'm sure everybody's seen the AI video which for a minute I was like, please, like obviously when I was like hoping it was real, I was like, this is like them joking
Want him
around.
slamming Mendoza up against the locker room? Yeah.
But then when he started saying mother farter, I'm like, okay,
Yeah, it's not real.
Cousins does not do that. Yeah, no way.
It's not real.
AI is scary as hell though. I'll tell you
Trevor
that
asked if
much.
we saw a clip of Mahomes over the weekend drilling a center of the back of the head. I did see that. It feels like
I did not see that.
I think something happened on a route in front of Mahomes where like he was gonna throw it, and then I don't know if the receiver fell down or what it was, but he you hold on the ball too long and then you decide to let it go.
Oh,
and you just threw
gotcha.
it right off the back of the center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, then people like photoshopped or not photoshopped. They like included the sound of Collinsworth with it. It's like, oh, look at Mahomes, look at him again, which I enjoy every time.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty good. Like Cameron's spot on, I would say. I mean, nothing in it, in this thing, shocks me. And again, I like the way you do it. You get an average. You get. I would like another thing, another sorting. I would like because we've talked about Cam Ward being more liked by execs. and some of these other guys, I'd like to see it sorted that way too.
Yep.
You know, like the coach
ranking in the exec ranking.
Yeah, exactly. Like how they differ. Where's the biggest, gap between that?
Malik Willis at number 29, by the way.
Yeah.
So interested to see what that looks like this year. Just ahead of Geno and Deshaun Watson. I brought it up. So Deshaun Watson's at 31 and Shador is at 25 or excuse me, 35. And apparently I guess they're like splitting first team reps up there in Cleveland. So looks like the QB competition is Shador versus Deshaun Watson. I'm very intrigued to see how that goes. I mean, I know who I want to see win it. Like I don't necessarily want to watch Deshaun Watson play any more football. So I'd like to see Shador Sanders win the job. I'm very interested to see what Todd Monken will do and who he will choose as the starter in Cleveland.
Yeah, to me, it's like
he's got his owner already screaming about taking the over on wins out there. So
take the over. Okay. Yeah, if Deshaun Watson isn't way better than Shador Sanders, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're messing around with Deshaun Watson, who did, by the way, I saw the other day, said, "Hey, I'd love to sign another contract.
I'm sure you would.
We love living here.
Yeah.
We got a house. I'm open to another deal.
Sure.
Like, to make the deal fair, how about we'll sign you to a 2-year, you pay us $7 million deal?
Yeah.
How about that? You pay $7 million and per year, and you go back. I don't know why you wouldn't go with Shador Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, if it's not good, right, you could switch back to Deshaun. I guess at that point, knowing in the back of your mind, you're gonna have to go draft another quarterback next year. But
I mean, these Browns goofballs who showed up for Deshaun's open day with like massage benches, like they are gonna boo the hell out of him on the field, aren't they? Are they gonna boo him off the field if he's a quarterback, as opposed to at least having an open mind on Shador Sanders?
I would think so.
But not that that's why you make the decision, but like I think that reflects, as a Browns fan, I want to see if this kid has anything. The other guy has just basically helped destroy the franchise with
that didn't need help destroying itself, by the way. But
exactly,
yes.
Yeah. Like Deshaun Watson might be a little bit better than him. Which, if that's the case, then certainly they're going to be drafting a quarterback. Okay, then let the young kid play. If you stink, you stink. You draft your quarterback next year.
Yeah, Haslam's taking the over 5.5.
That's what he said
for the win total for the Browns.
That's good to know.
It's very exciting.
Love it when your owner does that.
Yep. You better take the over this year.
So, are owners allowed to do prop bets in the NFL?
Don't know. That's a good question.
Like, he's like, yeah, take the. I'm taking the under on Deshaun Watson pass yards in preseason.
I mean,
game 1.
Look, I will say every time Jimmy Haslam says something, I'm like, all right. All right, first off, keep giving money to the Vols. That's really the only thing I care about with you. Keep giving money to the Vols.
That's right. Haslam's.
And then I do start to wonder, it's like, yeah, so how different are Jimmy and Bill? I know that they're different. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope they're significantly different in the way that they run their pro sports teams.
Yes, no doubt. Texter says, why are people so high on Kyler? He has no drive to be a great player, and the Duke can be an extra for the new Hobbit movie. Yeah, I don't know. He has no drive to be a great player? Says who? Like, what? What's that based on?
Video games?
Yeah, he played. Okay, so he plays video games again. So
when did that Call of Duty game come out again? Who they play that week?
I think it was October or November, something like that.
So, like, if Kirk Cousins watches like Little House on the Prairie, the entire like binges with his family, but that's not video games. But like, are you allowed to like have free time and do anything? I'm just wondering.
By the way, it's October 23rd, the release date. It's Friday. They play the Colts 2 days later. Take the Colts in that game.
Well, that's the JJ McCarthy game. They start JJ that game.
Oh yeah, you could get JJ in there for one game.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kyler Murray. I
mean, he's got Justin Jefferson.
I'm intrigued.
And Jordan Addison throw the ball to.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Kyler Murray with Minnesota. And if he does what I think he might do, then there's no question that's the best quarterback division in the NFL.
615-737-1025. Our phone number. The Rex Rent with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Robby and Rexrode 1025 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
All I know is I'm pathetic.
I'm going to cancel my athletic subscription because Sando's Tears isn't out yet.
He's a quarterback fluffer. The contact buzz I got from all the weed in the air as I was out there covering it.
The contact buzz, I just wanted to go get some taquitos.
I smoke weed constantly. Pat, did you buy a quarter ounce off Paul Husky?
Smalls, you mean to tell me that you went home and swiped a ball that was signed by Babe Ruth, and you brought it out here and actually played with it? Yeah. Yeah, but I was going to bring it back. But it was signed by Babe Ruth. Yeah. You keep telling me that. Who is she?
Hey, if you were a hot dog and you were starving, would you eat yourself?
What? The Sultan of Swat. The King of Crash. The Colossus of Clout. The Colossus of Clout. Babe Ruth! The Great Bambino!
Wilt was real. Just ask all of those women.
There may not be that many cougars in the hills, but there are coyotes.
It is time for the Rex Rant, served by the wine cellar in Hendersonville. I was wondering if Ian was going to weave the Sandlot into today's open, and by golly, he did. Good job.
Beautiful.
Very well done. Joe, the floor is yours.
I've seen that one in a while. Gotta go back and watch that.
I watched it literally like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Great.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, that plays right into the theme. I saw this and I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay. But I mean, maybe it's just, we should just have more fun with this, but this was, I don't even know what this was. What was this? What show was this? Do we know? Do we have an idea what interview, what podcast?
Talking baseball?
No idea.
Talking baseball. That's
the link. I don't know if they were actually doing the interview.
I don't know what show this is.
Yeah, but apparently this is like a thing that I'll get into. But I mean, this is a thing people tell me your favorite conspiracy theory, right? This is like a thing which I think should actually be made illegal, which I know is like now me being out publicly against free speech. But like, honestly,
he's on a podcast with Kristen Cavallari, whatever podcast she does.
That's Kristen Cavallari?
Yeah.
That's really.
Hold on a sec.
I'm pretty sure that's Kristen Cavallari.
All right, hold on. Now I need to now I'm totally oh my gosh, that is Kristen Cavallari. Okay. You blew that, Jay Cutler. All right. So here's Pete Crow Armstrong talking about Babe Ruth.
What's an unpopular opinion that you have?
This is going to be crazy.
I love it.
Babe Ruth never existed is one that I love.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Really? He never existed.
I heard some pitcher with the Mariners. What's his name? Salcedo. You remember him?
Salcedo, yeah, lefty.
I think he did some podcast on Zoom when he was like going down the rabbit hole with somebody about how Babe Ruth never existed. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like,
wow. So you're gonna double down right now?
Well, it's like we always talk about how like the game's evolving and like people might as well have been like underhanding the ball to that guy, and he's regarded still as one of the best players ever, and you might as well dive further into it and be like, well, maybe he just never existed.
I love it. I love it.
That's crazy.
That's a good one.
That's a good moon landing picture.
Yeah.
Are those pictures real?
Yeah, the moon landing.
I don't really want to get into this.
Yeah, well, we got a nice Kristen Cavallari, the moon landing. Oh, good. Way to drop the mic on that one. I mean, that's the thing. Like stuff like the moon landing is stupid, but it's like, okay, fine. You could like talk yourself into it. They were in a studio, but like Babe Ruth is like there's actual video of him. There's pictures. Like, you think because it was a black and white picture, this might not exist now? Like, this is us hurtling.
We're in trouble.
We are absolutely all going to die.
We are in big time trouble.
We are going to die.
The youth of America is really struggling here.
And the thing is, it's like,
you guys ever seen Babe Ruth?
Baseball.
Well, that's a fair
players
question.
in particular are, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, Robbie's already called them soft with a rant. Are we now going to say that across the board they're dumb?
Kinda, yeah.
Have you guys ever seen him?
College players, baseball players, they don't go to school.
Okay. You're taking this in a new areas. I would like us to like stop doing this. I really would. Like, what's your conspiracy? We have enough of them. Like, they're everywhere. Like, there's real people walk around this earth right now, like believing dumb crap they see on the internet that is put together by someone who knows nothing about anything but can like put together a website. I don't think we need to like lean into this anymore. And like can someone like say, hey man, you're an idiot. Someone say it to Kyrie when he's talking about the flat earth. Like, can someone just come out and say, you are an effing moron? Thank you. Like, we don't need to encourage it. We don't need to, I like that one. Yeah, no. I think we need to start yelling at these people. Maybe it'll help us. Maybe we'll save ourselves.
Idiots. Yes, we do.
Yeah, like it's okay. Neil says, sounds like Jay Cutler's better off. Yeah, very disappointing. Now, granted, Katie did make me watch. That was Orange County, right? Was that Orange County, or is that not hers?
I mean, I don't know anybody that's met Babe Ruth.
OC Hills, something like that.
Oh, yeah, it was Laguna Hills,
Laguna Beach.
And I must say, like,
Laguna Hills, nice spinoff of it though. Good show.
I mean, based on that show, her not believing the moon landing, like I'm not like totally blown out of my mind by that. Okay, but again, like we should be smarter than this as a society.
There is one thing you said I agree with. You know, I mean, if you go back and watch some of the video that does exist of Babe Ruth, I mean, I would like to imagine Babe Ruth playing in like today's game and what that would look like. Yeah, no, it's baseball. It's just like everything else. It evolves, right? Like
that's a debate. That's a debate we can have.
The game was 100 years ago.
It was 100 years ago. I mean, the athletes. I mean, look at Babe Ruth. I mean, the athletes are just way better now.
I mean, this is what I say about basketball all the time: bigger, stronger, faster. Right. So yeah,
so it's just like everything else. But that part of it I agree with. But yeah, I will admit that I do believe he existed.
Thank you. Thank you. We got you on the record.
I got it. Count me on the team that believes that Babe Ruth was an actual person.
we are pro. We think Babe Ruth exists show. So there you go. Yeah, that part of it is interesting. The old timers will tell you, yeah, but back then there was they would just like take razor blades and cut big things into the ball and everything, and no one ever regulated it. And so the ball was all. I mean, okay, I don't know, but I don't think
batting with no helmet.
I don't think people. Yeah, I don't think people were throwing like 101. And then, exploding sliders at 91, I mean, it might be. Now, granted, his physical condition, I introduced John Kruk to you. He was not that long ago. If you can hit a baseball, you can hit a baseball.
I mean, David Wells was a pitcher not that long ago either.
Right.
Who threw a perfect
game all completely hungover. So, yeah. Sorry, that happened. I'm getting choked up. This is so
it's an emotional time.
This is so emotional for me. Oh, yeah, here we go. Conspiracy theories are lame, except for Kurt Cobain was murdered, except for the dumb one that I believe. Thank you, Texter.
Oh, I mean,
but yeah, apparently baseball players.
I didn't know that this was
baseball
a thing.
Players believe that too.
I did not know that there was a debate about whether or not Babe Ruth was a real person.
And you play baseball, and you still don't believe it. Isn't that hardcore?
It is hardcore.
I mean, it's again like this is like we should all be very afraid. For some reason, well, we can get into this another time. I need to also today, Robbie. We need to get into a Big Joe take that you need to be made aware of.
Well, we can do that coming up next.
Yeah, we can do that next. Sure,
do that coming next. We'll
you're up, Big Joe.
We'll get into Cam Ward and the day that he had yesterday. Some comments from Robert Saleh coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Any other athletes from back in the day that we don't believe existed? Take your thoughts on that.
I mean, anybody in black and white, Jesse Owens, like, who have you got? Joe Louis. There's a statue of him in Detroit. Did Joe Louis exist?
Well, it was Brady. Like, is Brady actually the Brady we've been dealing with? He's a clone. He cloned his dog. So this could be even the technology dating back even farther than
he's certainly a surgically enhanced freakazoid now.
Robby and Rexrode 102.5 The Game. Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping, outdoor patios, landscaping design, lawn maintenance, and more. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Taking your thoughts on our phone and text lines, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We're getting all these conspiracy theories now on the text line, thanks to Joe.
Oh, goody. Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to make happen with this.
It's just elicit more of those.
Well, someone was like, someone's like, Babe Ruth is a new one, but there are definitely valid conspiracy theories out there. You can't believe everything. Can't get progress without thinking / questioning. I'm like, yes, there's actual conspiracies. Like, there are conspiracies. Now, if you believe that, like, someone could pull off all the things that you'd have to do to, quote unquote, fake the moon landing, then I think you're kind of dumb. See, the problem with some of the conspiracy theories is, like, they require you to actually go way beyond reasonable logic to think that these secrets could be kept. And then the Babe Ruth stuff is like, now we're getting into stuff that I don't even know. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's a stupid thing to say. Like there's no conspiracy. I guess the entire world conspired to pretend Babe Ruth existed. Like, all the old newsreels, all the stats, that's a hell of a conspiracy, my friend. Woo, the entire world is faking you out.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
615-737-1025.
I'm not going to, I can't. Someone's talking about a friend of ours, girlfriend's a blow up doll. That's not true. Was George Washington real? There we go. George Washington. Yeah, that's right. Did he actually chop down the cherry tree? Did he actually tell the truth about the cherry tree? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it looked like it was chopped down.
You're not that old, In the grand scheme of things, you're really not.
Yeah, I'm younger. I mean, we've had
younger
than Kuharski. We had Teresa Walker the other day. I'm a baby compared to Teresa and PK.
Yeah.
Glennon. All those guys. All of them. A baby.
Spring chicken over here.
Yeah, exactly.
What has Big Joe done that has set you off? I'm very curious to hear about this.
Oh man, this was great. Yeah. So, well, first of all, the story itself, we really need your reaction on that.
Okay.
Which is, the Arian Carter stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely. In fact, I talked to someone from Tennessee yesterday about this. Just like, is you guys going to do anything? And who? I mean, it would be. It would be his call to try to, like, get an injunction. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen there. I think he's going to have to sit. And the Georgia Tech game is exactly the kind of game that Arian Carter gets.
Needs to play.
He gets like 18 tackles in that game.
Yeah.
Now they still may win, but that game is like. And by the way, and this was a point made to me, and it's a good point. If you talk about Arian Carter, his career. This year, helping him moving forward, there's a game that you get a whole bunch of film out of because he's going to be, he's going to be the center of that defense, and it's a run heavy offense that they're going to play. So anyway, he's out. But yes, Big Joe and Nick Frazier, but I don't like that. I'd rather keep it to ripping Big Joe.
Okay.
But they basically the entire day, the entire sports world, us included, everyone was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. It's the same agent, by the way. It is the same. It's just that he's now quote unquote NFL agent. This kid, just like all of them, everybody playing college sports has been taking money from their agent constantly.
Correct.
And so because technically this is like an NFL agent now, he paid for his flight, he paid it back. Oh, okay, paid it back on a technicality, and he's going to miss 2 games. It's completely asinine. Big Joe, I broke a rule. Big Joe, I'm not kidding you. Big Joe, I hope you're listening, buddy. I really hope you're listening. I'm going to read the text that he sent me. And, Big Joe trolls. So you have to keep that in mind. I don't think this is trolling.
Okay.
I think that Big Joe was actually serious. So he's texting. It was actually this was the day that Connor was in. So Connor and I were both like, whoa, bro. Wait a minute. Wait, say that again. He said, my God, you really are stupid. Let me ask, does Pete Rose belong in the Hall of Fame? Pete Rose broke a rule. Arian Carter broke a rule. They knew the rule. The kid broke a rule, so you're saying it's okay. Everybody to break a rule and come with me. A couple, like let me back in. He broke a rule. God, you're so damn stupid. I love the kids. These are local products, and he's pretty good, but he broke a rule that he knew was there. Big Joe. Thank you, Big Joe. We got another segment out of this from you, bro. Pete Rose. Hey, Arian Carter broke a rule. Charles Manson broke a rule. Tell me the difference. Tell me the difference.
You know what the most amazing point, my initial reaction to this was when I saw this? There was a time where, because a judge in Texas said it was okay, that Brendan Sorsby was going to be allowed to play college football this year after gambling on the sport, and Arian Carter suspended 2 games for a $427 flight ticket in today's era of college football where players are being paid.
Yes.
It's amazing to me.
Now, to be fair, the NCAA on Sorsby, they ruled him ineligible.
They did.
But yes, that is incredibly the truth. That is incredibly the case. And it's just, in all seriousness, and I think Big Joe is serious, so good job, Big Joe. But in all seriousness, how could this still be sitting there? How could right now we be sitting here and no adult, the NCAA, has fixed this? I mean,
this is just, the NCAA, I think, is they every now and then they try to remind you, or at least act like they can remind you, that they're trying to still have a little bit of power when it feels like all of their power has been stripped away. So look, I mean, in all seriousness, they're not going to need Arian Carter for the Furman game. I think they're probably going to be all right in that one. The Georgia Tech game, they need Arian Carter. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they need him. So I'm not saying they can't go win without him, but that's a big loss in that game, as you pointed out. Like, if I was Tennessee, I would be doing whatever it takes to get him a temporary injunction, whatever. I'd be doing whatever it takes to get him in for that game. Furman, whatever. But I'd get him in for that one. I'd be doing whatever it takes.
Someone had the idea, of like trying, like, just for that week get the injunction. He plays that game, but then you serve the suspension the next week. There you go. That's all you got to do.
Kennesaw or whoever it is they play after that. Yeah,
exactly. No, but again, the whole thing is, like, if they aren't instantly moving to strike that from the record books, from the rule book, like, you can't have that rule.
Well, it's objectively laughable in the current state of college athletics that this is something that we're concerned about.
Before NIL, yes, I said this last week. I used to cover a college football beat, and every year the guys who were like legit draft prospects, all of a sudden they'd be driving sweet cars in January because they're done with school, they're working out for the draft, and now they can take money from an agent.
Yes.
So boom, they got this. Well, that starts in high school now. I mean, like, if you need an advance from your agent, you have an agent. You get the advance.
Well, by the way,
you spend money all the time that you get from your agent. There's a constant back and forth of money, and now all of a sudden, you're still trying to enforce this rule.
Well, and by the way, no one cares anymore. Like, it used to also be, like, I remember it wasn't that long ago that you'd be looking around and it's like, oh, so Trent Richardson's driving like an Escalade at Alabama. I wonder where he got that from. And you'd be we just kind of joked about it, but everybody knew what was going on. But now in today's day and age, no one cares. Like, I don't care if some 18-year-old's driving a car because he got NIL money. I certainly don't care about Arian Carter at a $427 flight ticket. Like, it's amazing to me that this is a thing in 2026.
He broke a rule.
He did.
He knew the rule. Pete Rose broke a rule. He knew the rule. Yeah. Thank you for the comparison, Big Joe. No, it's and someone saying Pete Rose belongs in the Hall of Fame. That's a different debate. Yeah, that's a different debate. I mean, Pete Rose, in all seriousness, what he did was bad. There's a reason he paid for it. See, Josh from Murfreesboro is like, they should just play him. Who cares what the NCAA says at this point?
Well,
yeah,
I mean, you can't do that. You have to get the injunction.
Yeah, like if you do that, like, I promise you guys, I understand that, like, the CFP people have, like, they try to stay. If you were to do that, the CFP you would not be eligible to play in the college football playoff. Yeah. So that'd be one thing for sure. Not to mention that you would then also be penalized by the NCAA because they are pretty much toothless, but when they get a chance, boy, they'll get you. So they'll sanction you and they'll take scholarships. And I mean, you obviously can't do that. unfortunately.
I hope it was a good flight, though. Hope you had a good time on the flight.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. $427.
Yeah.
Did he get like some peanuts? Did he get like a free
know.
beverage?
How many carry-ons?
It's truly incredible. And again, rules. I understand that rules are rules. The idea that anyone should think to address Big Joe's point of, well, technically it's a rule. The idea that anyone in college, this I guess tells everybody, but again, this should not stand. This should be wiped away. But the idea that anyone playing college football, a prominent player, a starter who's making hundreds of thousands for sure, should think that that's a rule still is asinine.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So, and again, so it sounds like it was like, oh, yeah, by the way, you got to pay him back. Technically, he's now an NFL agent, so you got to pay him back. Okay, here, pay him back. And then you come to find out that, like, you're going to be suspended games. I mean, it's truly amazing.
615-737-1025, our phone number. We'll get back into Cam Ward and his day for the first day of pads for the Titans yesterday coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. I know it's going to be a good start to the segment when Joe, right before the segment starts, says, hey, I need to hit the moon talk real fast. Joe, the floor is yours.
Yeah. So first of all, we have been back to the moon since Neil Armstrong. We went. Apollo 17 went back in 1972. People asking me, I get tear in the. This is. I mean, you've said it too. I think tongue in cheek. Like, why haven't we been back? Well, I don't know what the cost is. I'd say pretty substantial. Tell me what the value is of going to the moon.
Nothing other than to say you did it.
Right. So the reason that we did the moon, all back then, Russia, USSR, they had the first satellite, right? They beat us to that. We beat them to the moon. All of the space stuff then was only everything about the Cold War. That's what it was about. We will dominate space. We had, at one point we had the SDI, that Reagan wanted to do, Strategic Defense Initiative, et cetera, et cetera. It was the Cold War. The space was a huge battleground for the Cold War. So we won. We got there. We put the flag in the moon. Went back there again, 1972, and it's like, okay, thanks, moon. Like, why would we spend the money to go back to the freaking moon right now? Can we use our brains ever in society? Sorry, Terry from Nashville. I don't mean to yell at you, but dude, really?
Have you been to the moon?
I have not.
Have you seen Babe Ruth?
Did Babe Ruth go to the moon?
I don't know.
Babe Ruth was alive when we went to the moon, I believe. So he probably watched it on TV.
Was he? When did Babe Ruth die?
I could be wrong. When did Babe Ruth? I don't know. I could be wrong.
He died in 1948.
Oh,
yeah, he
crap. I'm sorry, Babe. Okay. Sorry. The moon landing was like 21 years after he passed. He would have watched it on TV, though, I'm sure he would have.
See, he would have.
Well, didn't we just make the Artemis 2 around the moon just like this past year?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Yeah. I can't keep up with all the space travel, but yeah.
Like I said, this is what I don't know. Like, are people messing with me right now? Like, is this Big Joe's number? It's not. Let me read this text from Mike.
Okay.
He says, buddy, we did not go to the moon. You're talking about a time when you weren't allowed to stand in front of the microwave when they only have 3 channels on TV, and you believe we went to the moon? Again, we're going to die because of people like you, Mike. You're going to kill us all. Yes, you're right, Mike. It was all a ruse. I mean, were people not flying in airplanes then, or was that fake too? When did that become real?
I'm very happy that Rexrode opened this box today for the rant.
God, and
keep them coming. 615-737-1025.
Please don't keep them coming. On another topic of the Tennessee texter asking me, someone who's not telling me dumb crap on the text line says, "Did he self-report?" Asking about self-reporting. Yes, Tennessee self-reported. Tennessee self-reported this. This is a level 3 violation. It's like a level 3 violation is like, okay, did he pay it back? Okay, and we'll fine you like parking passes half off for NCAA staff at the next Tennessee Bama game. I mean, it's completely idiotic. And then they come back with, yes, he is now ineligible. Even then, it's like he's ineligible for the whole season. That's the initial automatic. Okay, fine. And then what's the real thing?
Yeah,
3 games. What? 3? What? I mean, seriously. It's almost as dumb as the moon. We only had 3 channels on television. What are you talking about? Do you know that we had trains before we had electricity? What the hell is happening right now?
I gotta say, I did not anticipate the show going this way, Ian, but I'm glad it did.
I mean, sometimes you just need to help the people. This is a show of the people. We are a business of the public to inform the public for local, situations. We are here in cases of emergency.
We are.
And we take that seriously.
We're all going to die. But this is a great text. Have you seen Babe Ruth on the moon at the same place at the same time?
Have it. Good point.
Babe Ruth hit bombs to the moon. Also good.
It's a good point.
Okay, let me see. Let me read this. I'm not saying this. This is me reading it. Quote, you have to remember how dumb people are. They're actual grown human beings with children that look at them and believe they have all the answers, think the world is actually flat. This is a really long text. That's 1 sentence. Anyone can have a child, but I have to have a license to fish. We truly live in a wild time. Okay, so now we are advocating for celibacy. I would also agree with that too.
Also, make sure you get your fishing license if you're going to fish. A lot of things we got to stay on top of around here too. Cam Ward yesterday at camp, first day of pads for the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward, I've sifted through the reporting that's gone on yesterday from Titans training camp, Joe, and the vibe that I get from most people is it was a pretty good day for Cam Ward, other than 2 catastrophic interceptions that were thrown out there. And Robert Saleh was asked about Cam Ward, kind of the ability to throw across his body and how you view that as a coach. Do you want to rein it in? And the 2 interceptions that Ward threw yesterday. Here's what Robert Saleh had to say yesterday at practice.
A couple times rolling out through across his body, interceptions. How do you kind of balance like approaching that? You don't want to take the stinger out, so to speak, but you still want them to be
Yeah, those are. I don't want to say they're non-negotiables, but thrown across your body, especially shallow, it's different if you really extend the pocket and it just really opens up for you. But when there's so much traffic in there, the one that Jermaine made was an elite play. That's your check down with regard to a boot. Jermaine made a hell of a play, but usually that check downs, you can count on it being open. But the first one that Hooker intercepted probably was a poor decision.
So that was Robert Saleh yesterday talking about throwing across the body. Amani Hooker intercepted that ball. Jim Wyatt pointed out that it probably would have been a pick 6. So you're probably talking about a touchdown the other way on that throw from Cam Ward. So, on the one hand, Joe, you hear about the performance from Ward yesterday, some of the throws he made, pretty good. On the other hand, you have 2 interceptions, one of which likely would have been a pick 6. So there probably was way too much of it's a really good day from Cam Ward yesterday, other than the 2 picks. But what do you make of kind of what Robert Saleh said on Ward there, his day yesterday, the first day in pads, and the 2 interceptions that were thrown?
Yeah, as someone said earlier, there's some honesty there, which is good. Just straight up, not quite non-negotiables. One of them was worse than the other one. One of them more of a great play. One of them just an ill-advised throw. The accounts of both plays are that there was actually something downfield that was there when he made the decision to come back across his body. Coming back across your body and throwing downfield, which was his first touchdown pass, which is an amazing play. And he made similar plays, I think, probably 2 or 3 times last year, I think. Great plays. Like those are special plays that special players make. The throwing across your body in the middle of the field area, short or mid-range, that's almost always does that. Like that's one of those like really early lessons I think quarterbacks learn, right? And so, it's just you just don't want to make that decision. You don't want to make that mistake. You expect Cam Ward's going to throw some picks in camp. I'd rather picks in camp be of the took a deep shot and great play or 50-50 ball. Hey, Carnell Tate, go win this, but he didn't. Kevin Winston Jr. won it. Okay. I'd rather those be the picks that you throw in camp as opposed to just like plays that you shouldn't make as a quarterback, that you should know better than try to make.
I would agree. I think this is kind of the way I laid it out earlier. If you've listened to this show long enough, Joe, you certainly know, I largely despise training camp practices. I think there's a very, very, very limited amount of information that you can take from them. And for some reason, this is the sport that we choose to just hyper-focus in on practice when we don't really do that with any other sport. You can take some things away from it, but by and large, I think it's very overrated, the amount of time we spend talking about training camp around here. But it's football, and everybody loves football, so I get it. So I'm not especially upset or concerned about Cam Ward individually yesterday when you just focus in on yesterday throwing a couple picks. Like, it is what it is. Learn from it. Move on. What I will say, and I think this is kind of what I'm waiting on, and it's part of what this year is about. When you factor in the fact that he was taken number 1 in the draft, the season that he had a year ago, the struggles in the mini camp part of this, OTAs, off-season work, and now you've got training camp beginning. Throw a couple of picks yesterday. I think Kuharski said on the show yesterday that he's been so far in camp. Like, at some point, I need the number 1 overall pick to have some days where he just dominates out there and shows that he elevates everyone around him. And he doesn't have to do it every day. Like, I'm not expecting Cam Ward to go out and practice from here on out and just totally carve up the Titans defense every single day. But every now and then, yeah, like that's kind of what I'm expecting you to do. And I don't want the caveat of, yeah, he carved him up, except for like the 3 picks he threw over here or the 3 plays that he missed on over here. Like, I need some dominant days from him. And again, it's training camp. I'm not going to panic about anything that I see or don't see in training camp or that we talk about. because ultimately it doesn't matter. Like, you got to get to the season. But I do think at some point, like, if he is going to elevate into the player that they need him to elevate into, you got to go out there and dominate. And I just don't feel like he's really done that yet in his career.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now, you bring that up, and I agree. Like, you want some of these days in camp to be like, "Ooh, dang, Cam Ward," like, and no picks, and like, I don't. That's the funny thing about all this in camp is like, do you remember last camp? Like, did he have days like that last camp? I don't know.
I don't think he did, but no, I mean, like, I can't. But that's kind
He
of
might have though, right? I don't know.
Dominate. I don't know if you ever had any of those. Like, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about where he is clearly the best player on the field. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that needs to happen at some point. And I it's still very early for him. It's year 2. You're learning a new system. I get all of it. Like, I'm not concerned about it. I'm just saying, like, we're talking about a number 1 overall pick at quarterback. And sometimes, George on the YouTube chat brought it up. I yelled about this a year ago about how the standard for quarterback play around here has been way too soft. And it has. Like, it's got to get higher as we move forward here. And you're talking about a number 1 overall pick. That's the standard he needs to be held to.
Yeah, I agree. It's and there were different. We talked about some of the different outlooks or different viewpoints of his day yesterday. There were people who were like, "Oh, that's bad," and people say that was an amazing day, other than the 2 picks.
Which is part of why I hate training camp, by the way.
But yes, exactly. It's kind of, and I even think with a lot of these people, I think for the most part, maybe 1 or 2 of them are strongly in the Cam do's or what are you doing? But I think for the most part are with the most of society, which is just kind of let's wait and see and find out. And you can still have different perspectives on that. But I agree with you that it'd be good to see some days where it's like there's no question that he was awesome and like you said, the best player on the field. In the spring, it was the accuracy stuff. And again, it was sort of like trying to figure out, is that just a missed throw or is that a miscommunication? And all that stuff isn't going to matter too much once we get to the season. By then, the excuse of new system and all that stuff will be out the window. Now, you may have an excuse of a terrible offensive line, and you may have no chance on a lot of plays because of that offensive line, and that's part of football. I mean, these quarterbacks, we had quarterback tiers today. None of those guys do it by themselves. No one ever has as a quarterback in this league. You have to have good players around you to do anything. But, yeah, sometimes you'd like some days to be no controversy. Clearly, he was awesome. And us the people who want to go overboard with that stuff, having to talk them down from that.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll take more of your thoughts on Cam Ward and the Titans. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Nice.
Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Text line's going all over the place right now. Some of it's football, some of it's not. There's a lot of stuff happening.
I lost the text. Someone had a good text about, it says, do you have a memory foam mattress or use a handheld vacuum cleaner or possibly have scratch-resistant lenses in your glasses if you wear them? All of them are a direct result from NASA's moon landing program, and there are a lot more. Another texter says, the United States landed astronauts on the moon 6 times between 69 and 72. I'm 69 years old, grew up during that time. It was exciting and, yes, very real. There are multiple reasons for going to the moon, not just political. It's not worth wasting time even commenting on people saying it never happened. Let me do a quick aside. I understand what you're saying, and yet people are saying it. He said the price tag for the space program from Kennedy's pronouncements in 61 to the end of the Apollo program was about $25 billion. That's 1960s money, $25 billion. Thank you for your text. Thank you to those of you who live in the real world. To those of you who do not, please leave me alone. Also, Big Joe told me to die. But, dude, this is – okay, hold on, bro. He says, please buy my new album and I'll forgive you. And he has – it says Starwood Dreams.
Yep.
Did he create – did Big Joe have an album?
I mean, you just fall for so much stuff that he tells you. It's very
I know, but I think maybe this is real. Starwood Dreams.
Starwood Dreams. He does love Starwood. Or what used to be Starwood. He's told multiple stories about seeing good shows there.
It's from Music Box Entertainment. There's no way this is actually on my iTunes. Here's some of the song names. Stinky's Boat.
Careful.
Sunsets and You. Stinky's Boat, live at the scoreboard.
Dumb button ready.
Memories Don't Text Back. Yacht Rock Saturday Nights. Fading Trail.
Sounds great.
Should I play this? I need... What the hell
No,
is this thing?
don't do that.
Going up to UJ, smoking on some new green. Can we get Big Joe and Pat McAfee
a collab?
Can they play a show together?
That'd be awesome. I'd go.
Does anybody know what Starwood Dreams actually is?
I mean, apparently My Chemical Romance is playing at Nissan Stadium, so wouldn't have guessed that either. A lot of stuff happening.
That is wild.
A stadium show.
I mean,
for
good
them,
for
huh?
them.
Yeah.
Okay. Starwood Dreams album. This is a real album, but it's not from Big Joe, right?
I don't know.
I want it to be from Big Joe.
He's a man of many talents. It could be.
I think I should just play it on the air.
All right.
He wouldn't swear.
Oh, I don't know.
Big Joe keeps it clean, right?
Does he?
We'll see. I don't know that I would do that.
Just a few notes. All right, got a little saxophone in there. Nice.
Well, this could be our last show.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. I'm sorry, Big Joe. Don't ask me to die.
One texter says, Cam Ward was the #1 pick in a terrible quarterback draft. This is the point many were making his draft year. He's not a franchise quarterback. Not saying he's going to be terrible, just saying the smart move was the Titans trading back instead of taking Ward, but the Titans did what they do best, make mad decisions. Not surprised Ward will most likely be mediocre. Well, all that other stuff we'll see. I mean, we've talked plenty about the trade opportunity. I mean, at this point, it is what it is. They've made the selection, so we'll see.
Yep, and
what he turns into.
And in that scenario, they probably take Jackson Dart.
But
right?
again, like I don't really care about the draft discourse.
He went #1
around Cam Ward and and how he was viewed by the experts. The Titans chose to do it, and they chose to draft him at #1. So once they do that, I don't really care about what everybody else says about how they view him, because the Titans viewed him as a #1 overall pick.
Right.
So if the Titans view him as a #1 overall pick, that's the standard I'm going to hold him to, is being worthy of being the #1 overall pick. And frankly, that's the standard of however this works out with him that Borgonzi is going to be held to, because he's the one that did it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You took him #1 overall. You could have done something else. You didn't. You took him #1 overall. Yeah, all #1 overall picks are not created equal.
No,
that's true. But they're all still like when the career is over and he now enters that list. So there'll be there's a running list in the NFL of quarterbacks who went #1 overall and how they did, and he'll be in this bucket or this bucket, and that's it. And if you're the Titans and you made that decision when you could have traded down, you've declared he's the #1 pick in the draft. So that's why he's going to get every opportunity to figure this out. And I'm definitely not in the camp of, this isn't going to work.
No, neither am I.
He's screwed.
Yeah.
Not all, but at this very moment, I'd like to have a little bit more positivity, a few more positive signs. The intangibles are good.
Well,
some of the tangibles are still questionable to me.
We've talked about that, and I think that was also, we made a big deal in the offseason. I think at one point Saleh was asked about like why he thinks Cam Ward's going to be a great player, and he just started listing off all these leadership qualities and intangible things. And I think my point at the time was all those things are great, but if you can't actually play the position at a high enough level, I don't care about any of that stuff, right? Like those are all things that are important, but they're not more important than your physical ability to do the job. And we mentioned the QB tiers that Mike Sando came out with earlier today at The Athletic, talking to the executives and coaches around the league. And this was an offensive coach's quote. And I think it's concerning, but it also kind of highlights kind of some of the things we've been talking about with him. Quote, Ward does not give you confidence that he sees it well and can operate on time when it's not clean. The mark of a quarterback in this league is the pocket's collapsing. You have to anticipate. You have to know what you're looking at and why, and you have to be able to do it in that environment. I didn't see any signs of him being able to do that. And if that's the case and it works out that way, well, that's not good. Now, I also think we're 1 year into his career and now 1 year and a few days of training camp. There's still a long time before we're actually going to know.
Yeah, that's a discouraging quote. And in the tiers, the execs like Cam, the coaches like him less. The execs like him more, the coaches like him less. That's not necessarily, a great thing, but we all continue to guess. And that's the great thing about quarterbacks in this league is, it may not be a great thing for the Titans, but Cam Ward could end up being a hell of a player 3 years from now, and that happens more and more in this league. We see it happen, which, by the way, I saw this last week, and we never got into it, but this comes up again. Texter saying, Baker might be looking for home next year. Can he be our next Tannehill? And someone asked the question last week. I think it was one of Kaharski days. I just never got to it because people were probably just making fun of him for something or whatever. The question of right now, if you could say, okay, this is our quarterback for the next, 4 years. Baker Mayfield, same cost. Baker Mayfield, Cam Ward. And obviously it's not the same cost. Cam Ward's on a rookie deal, but still you can make it work. What would you do? What would you do? Baker Mayfield, Cam Ward. You have a lot less time with Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
If Cam Ward ends up being great, and you're going to miss out on a decade of that.
Yeah, it's a great. I hope we're not asking that question at the end of the year. I hope Ward has played well enough where it becomes clear. But there's also the chance that. I think the most discouraging thing from a Titans evaluation standpoint this year, assuming health, because the most discouraging thing for sure will be like Ward getting hurt and you not getting a chance to look at him this year. But I think beyond that, assuming that your team and your quarterback for sure are relatively healthy, is you get through the end of the year and one of two things happen. Either number one, he is just like he'll have some great games and then he'll have some really, really bad games. And it's just it's way up or way down all throughout the course of the year. And that's just the way it plays out. Or I guess the other option that could be realistic is the offensive line is so freaking bad that you're looking around at the end of it and you're saying, yeah, numbers aren't good. And he wasn't good, but my goodness, he was on his back a lot. And I understand Titans fans because I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm getting fewer and fewer sympathy for like that being excuses just because we've dealt with it for so long. But the reality is it absolutely could be that way this year.
It could. Now I think that I think with Wan'Dale Robinson, with Carnell Tate, you have Ridley right now, Io Manners coming on.
Yep.
I do think that you have the help from skill
and Dable
to hopefully offset that. And again, you go to the quarterback tiers. No better example of a QB overcoming terrible offensive line play than Joe Burrow, right?
Correct.
He got hit a lot. He got sacked. I got sacked 7 freaking times here in a playoff game, but he still found a way to win. He had great players on the outside.
Well,
I'm not saying these guys are those guys, but that's as if you're a number 1 pick quarterback, then you still have to figure some things out, even if you don't have good offensive line.
Well, exactly. And it's not, by the way, it's not just Burrow that does that either. Like Burrow is probably
Mahomes
the most
has done some. Yeah.
It's Burrow is probably the most extreme example that we've seen recently, just because that offensive line was that bad. But I know I watch this guy probably more closely than anybody else around here does. But like Jordan Love, I think by the numbers, had the 3rd or 4th most pressures against last year, and he had a great year and he led the Packers to the playoffs. Like, you can overcome bad offensive line play to a certain degree if your quarterback is good enough. Like, it's just a reality in the league.
Yeah, the Lions, I never thought Jared Goff could function. He had great offensive line play. Last year he didn't, and he still had a great year. Now he has great skill.
Yeah.
So, but there's another example of a guy and a guy who most of these guys we talk about move better than Cam, I would say. Jared Goff does not.
He does not.
So Cam can definitely outmove Goff and Cousins.
I would assume so. I mean, are there any other quarterbacks like for sure that he is outmaneuvering? Like they're like starting quarterbacks. Like he moves better than Brissett, doesn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
And definitely this stage of his career, Aaron Rodgers, he moves better than.
Yeah.
Tua.
You would think.
Tua's a little bit in between.
Tua?
Yeah.
It's hard to. I feel like he moves well, but then sometimes he just gets slammed to the ground. You know, I don't know, but yeah, not many.
Not a whole lot of statues left in the league. Stafford, he moves better than.
Flacco.
That's true.
He's technically a backup.
Stafford. Yeah, no, the statuesque QB, and Cam's not statuesque. I think Cam's good at evading.
Elusive.
Yeah, he's good at evading, extending, just
straight line speed.
Kind of slow.
Yeah.
But he definitely looks to me like, he is definitely in better shape this year
for sure
than he was a year ago. You can see that for sure. So maybe that'll show up a little bit more with a little bit more quickness.
Final segment of the show coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Today, the Nashville Sounds take on the Memphis Redbirds. First pitch at 6:45. Catch all the action on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks, Family Leisure, Maple Street Biscuit Company, and Social Cantina. By the way, congratulations over the weekend to Rick Sweet, manager of the Nashville Sounds. Became the sole possession of the second most minor league managerial wins of all time. Second place. So congratulations to Rick Sweet over the weekend.
That's sweet.
That is sweet. Very nicely done.
People text me. Big Joe keeps sending me these songs, and I'm like, I don't know what he. I'm like, did you play tambourine? Like, were you at the cowbell? Like, what were you doing? I could see him being like, Will Ferrell on the needlework cowbell.
Sure.
Someone making the point to me, Burrow quote found a way to win. His defense got 3 picks. Sure. I mean, obviously it's team game. Burrow did throw for 348 yards in that game for the record. Like, he made plays, but
people act like quarterbacks just win independent of everyone else all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's all a team game. So if other things, again, I think if the Titans have the defense that I think they could have this year, it's going to be great for Cam Ward. And if he wins games throwing for 190 yards, making winning plays, great. Take that over throwing for, having gaudy numbers, but you lose, right?
For sure.
Teresa Walker, who did a great job Friday, is like, Levis says the physical tools outtake Ward's leadership and work ethic. Yes, I agree. Also, the as you've just said, we'll talk about this a lot more. The intangibles are great, and then at some point, the tangibles have to be good enough for you to be on the field. You can be a great locker room guy and not play.
Well, by the way, Levis
has a backup quarterback,
and Levis has physical tools. Levis is not an accurate quarterback.
Right.
Levis can't hit a wide open receiver.
I mean, there is one thing where I think that they share, which is like there's just the whoa, where'd that one go? Throw.
Yeah, Levis has got a good
arm. Both of them have.
For the most part, and there's exceptions here or there, but for the most part, I mean, there's a baseline of physical tools you're going to have to make it to the NFL anyway, right? Like, it's just a baseline of what you're going to have.
Teresa fouls up, Levis with the picks and all that. Ward has to get better. I trust Ward's brain to help him get better. The question is, what's the high water mark? Yeah, sure. And by the way, if it's, as we talk about Baker Mayfield, if Cam Ward's high water mark is about middle of the pack, 14, 15 in the league, which is about what Baker is, then I'd sign up for him right now with that contract and the length of time over Baker. I don't know that that's the case, though.
No, I think there's a lot still to be determined on there. And again, like the intangible stuff is important. It is, because I think we've seen examples here where maybe you don't have enough of that. Like, I don't think it's different. You've been too nice to Marcus today, so I'm going to rip him here.
He's pretty good.
There's I think clearly one of the faults with him at quarterback, beyond just not being good enough on a consistent basis, was like, I don't know that he had the disposition that you want from your quarterback, right? Like, he was a little too passive.
Yep.
And I think we saw that. I mean, that clearly rubbed some of his teammates the wrong way. They came out and talked about it. So I think Ward's definitely not that. Like, he's not passive. Like, there's a lot that but neither was Levis, right? Like, Levis wasn't passive.
Yeah, like Teresa's on work ethic. I don't think Levis has a work ethic issue. I think Levis has a getting his own head issue.
Yes, for sure.
then the accuracy.
Right.
So I don't know. You got to work on both those things.
But again, like Ward, you got a better receiving core this year, we think. You got a better coaching staff, or certainly a better offensive staff this year, we think. So there's a lot that we're going to find out over the next few months that should be working in his favor here. And then it's going to come back to what we talked about kind of to begin the show of when you've got, Calvin Ridley running a 12-yard out route on the sideline, can you hit him on a consistent basis? When you've got Tate streaking across the middle of the field and you've got to put the ball in a certain spot or you're going to miss your window and it's going to end up being intercepted, can you put it in that spot time after time after time? That's what separates, guys who hang around in the league for a little while as starting quarterbacks to guys that build actual careers where they're your franchise quarterback.
Yeah, Texter says Levis more accurate than Ward, but he makes worse decisions, leading to more picks. I don't know if I agree with that. I think
Levis was pretty wildly inaccurate sometimes.
Yeah, like Levis and Ward both can make amazing throws.
Yes.
They both have arm talent in terms of they can make throws where you're like, wow, that's a big time NFL quarterback making a throw. But then I think they both whoa, that one's just a bit outside.
Yeah.
A little too often. I don't know. If you line them up side by side and you did an accuracy drill, I think it'd probably be relatively close. But yes, I mean, the Levis death turnover is certainly something that,
And to his credit, Ward didn't have a whole lot of those last year.
Right.
When it came to the interception part. Like, he fumbled too much, and he's got to figure that out this year. But, I mean, that would be a difference. I don't think there were, like, very many interceptions at all that Ward threw last year. We're like, oh, no. Like, it's just horrific interception.
Yeah, some over the middle of the field where it's like, how didn't you see that guy? But sometimes the defense fools you with the post snap, and you think, they got a robber in a spot where you don't expect them or whatever. I mean, like that everybody's going to throw some picks. Like the picks yesterday, cross your body, middle of the field. Those are not good.
That's going to do it for us today on the program. Good to be back in the saddle today. We will be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. More Kuharski tomorrow.
Oh,
so looking forward to that. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.